Alright, hey, HadesOmega here. Welcome to the After Action Review for Virginia City Grand Prix 2026. Alright, it took place on April 25th and 26th, 2026. And HadesOmega raced the Sunday race. Okay, guys, so this is an After Action Review. This is what was supposed to happen, what really happened, and things that we could do to improve in 2027 and beyond. Alright, guys. So, what was supposed to happen? HadesOmega is going to race the Virginia City Grand Prix for the 6th time, alright? Yeah, 6 years HadesOmega has been racing this race. Man, that's quite a bit. I remember the first race like yesterday. That one will be the most memorable and most miserable memory of that race, okay? But last year was pretty wild. It snowed and everything, alright? But this year, the weather was better, alright? But we'll get to that in a bit, alright? So yeah, we're going to race Virginia City Grand Prix in the Sunday race, like as usual, alright? Maybe one day, I don't think HadesOmega will ever race the Saturday race, alright, guys? I'm just not that good a dirt rider, alright, guys? And yeah, this weekend kind of proved it, alright? That's what I'm saying, alright, guys? This is one of the hardest races that I do every year, okay, guys? That's why I keep on coming back, because it's not easy. Why do we do the things that we do? Because they're not easy, alright? It's because they're hard, alright? Because if it was too easy, it wouldn't be any fun, right? So that's the way I see it, alright, guys? And this Virginia City Grand Prix is no exception, alright, guys? It was a doozy, alright? That's what I'm saying. Alright, so yeah, we're going to race a Sunday race, and we're going to race on the red loop in the Dual Sport Novice class, alright? So, what was different from this year since last year? They got rid of the electric class, guys. Can you believe it? Virginia City Grand Prix was one of the first races, you know, like dirt bike races that I know of, or just races in general, that had a class just for electric motorcycles, all right? And then they got rid of it, all right? They got rid of it last year because last year they had all these factory race teams like Arctic Leopard, Zero Motorcycles, Charged Cycle Works came by, alright, and they just came and they just destroyed everybody, okay, guys? They showed the electrics what we can do, alright? So because of that, they decided, well, you know, the electrics can compete with the gas bikes now, okay? So I mean, it's kind of a sad day, and it's kind of a you know, a good day, alright, if you think about it. It means that yes, electric bikes are getting closer to be competitive with gas bikes. However, if we have to race the electric bikes with the gas bikes now, it's kind of, I mean, you have to do the full race, all right? You have to be able to race 3 hours, all right? That's the gist of it, all right? On Sunday, you have to be able to race 3 hours to finish the race, and you have to be able to at least complete 1 lap before you go back to the pits, okay, guys? So that is the most difficult part, all right? Being able to make it back at least 1 lap, and to have either a second battery or charger bike, alright? Obviously, you don't want to go with the charger bike option because it just takes too long, alright? It takes too long compared to filling up a tank, alright? But we can change a battery, which takes roughly the same time it takes to gas up a bike than it does to swap a battery, alright? Depending on the bike, alright? Like this bike, okay? Okay, so yeah, we're going to race the WR250E, alright, guys? This is the same bike that we raced last year. I built this bike specifically to race in the Virginia City Grand Prix because I got tired of the light beating the crap out of me, alright, on those rocky-ass trails. I'm not going to lie, there's a couple times I wish I still had the light bee at Virginia City Grand Prix, alright, guys? And that's in those really difficult parts where you need a really handicap, okay, guys? One thing HadesOmega doesn't like about this bike is it's very tall, okay, guys? It fits me. It's actually a little bit too tall than I'd like, okay? I wish it was just maybe like ½ an inch lower, and then maybe it would be perfect, okay, guys? But it is a much bigger bike than the Light Bee, alright? It's about 80 pounds heavier than the Light Bee also, okay? But what it has that the Light Bee doesn't have is suspension, alright? This has a true motorcycle dirt bike suspension, right? The WR250R was a serious dual sport, okay, guys? And that's why we race in the dual sport class, all right? So the rules are you can race your electric bike in any class you want, pretty much. That's what they said. regardless of displacement requirement. Okay, so there are some classes that they require you to have like a certain displacement size. All right, so for the Dual Sport Novice class, all right, so I'm not gonna lie, all right, guys. I was at the award ceremony last year, and then I was looking at the Dual Sport Novice class, like, hey, there's only like 4 or 5 people in that class. That's less competitive than the electric class was. The electric class had like 12 bikes in it or something. Okay, guys, like double the bikes. Like, I probably would have done better if I raced with the dual sports, all right? And then when I looked at the results, I was right. All right? So that was the class that I was wanted to race in, all right? Because, one, this is a dual sport bike, okay, guys? It is a factory dual sport bike. It still retains its license plate. It's still street legal, okay, guys? It has the blinkers and everything. It's 100% street legal, okay? Other than, like, it doesn't have the gasoline components on it, okay, guys? So that in itself qualifies it for the dual sport class. However, there is a requirement in the dual sport class, is that it's kind of a dumb rule if you think about it, because they have dual sports that are smaller than 650cc, okay, guys? All right, so the dual sport novice class, it's got to be a dual sport motorcycle, all right? And I don't know who checks these, the bike's requirements and all that stuff before the races or after the races, okay? But yeah, I guess you could protest. You could say, hey, that guy wasn't racing a dual sport, okay? But it's got to be a dual sport, all right? It's got to be plated, all right? Now, plated is it's kind of like a gray area, or especially in Nevada, okay, guys? Okay. So these are the requirements for the Dual Sport C class is what they call it, or Dual Sport Novice, I believe is what they call it, because they have other Dual Sport classes. Okay. There is a Dual Sport A/B classes, okay, guys. So let's go over that first, all right? But that's on a Saturday race, and they race on the full loop. You need a yellow plate with the black number front and side. I don't know what that means. Single cylinder purpose-built bike of a minimum of 650cc, and an expert A and an amateur B level racer. Okay, so I don't know how you designate yourself as an A or B rider. It's just kind of on the honor system. Okay, guys. If you feel you're ready, go for it. Okay, I don't think I'm ready. So in the Dual Sport C class, you can have, it's a novice level racer, level C, okay, guys? And you will race on the red loop that is 8 to 15 miles, all right, guys? And so it's called Dual Sport C. It's a single cylinder purpose-built bike, minimum 650cc, and it's a novice C level racer. I don't know what purpose-built bike, what HadesOmega thinks a dual sport is it came from the factory, all right, for the most part. One, it came from the factory, and it has turn signals, stoplight, headlight, all that good stuff on the bike to make it street legal, okay? Or it could be a dirt bike that you added the lights and all that stuff on it, and you got a street legal registration, all right? So it's got, to me, for HadesOmega, I don't know, it's kind of, I don't know how they make up these rules and stuff, but I don't know what purpose-built bike is, but to me, the purpose-built bike is, it came from the factory as a street legal bike, okay, guys? So that's what a dual sport is, all right? It's not a dirt bike, because it doesn't, it could be very close to a dirt bike, all right, guys? But it came from the factory with the license plate, basically, okay, guys? And you have to pay registration and all that stuff, all right? And this bike fits that purpose, okay, guys? However, this is a 250cc bike, all right? When it was a gas bike, it was a 250cc. So if I wanted to race this in that class, I couldn't, all right? If it was a gas bike. But since it's an electric bike, I don't have to worry about displacement requirements, okay? So it's a legal bike, all right, guys? All right? So it is legal. In my opinion, that is the class that I thought this bike fits the best in. And I was looking at that class last year. I was wondering, I could race in that class if I wanted to, okay, guys? And it turns out that VCGP, they 86 the electric class, and then HadesOmega was thinking, well, you know what? I was thinking of racing that dual sport class, and here we are, okay, guys? So that's the scoop, all right, guys? So that's it. So it's got to be, I don't know, a purpose-built bike, all right? But in my opinion, it's a street legal bike, all right? That's what that means, all right? That's what dual sport is. and it's got to be 650cc and smaller, okay, guys? And then I will tell you guys about the bikes that we were racing against, all right? And there was really only one bike I think fits the category, okay, guys, that we're racing in that class, all right? Maybe they're, yeah, super noobs or something. I don't know. Okay, so I'll talk about that when we get to the racing part, okay, guys? All right, so yeah, so HadesOmega decided we're gonna race Dual Sport Novice or Dual Sport C, okay? And with this bike. So what the biggest difference between racing in the electric class and in the dual sport class is that we have to race the full time to get to finish, all right? To finish and get a finisher pin and to get scored, all right? That's those three things, all right? In the electric class, you only had to do 3 laps and then your race is finished on the red loop, okay, guys? So the dual sport and the electric class is pretty much the same, right? Except you have to race the full 3 hours, right? But guess what? HadesOmega did the full 3 hours last year, all right? I did 7 laps in 2025, all right, on the red loop, okay? And then HadesOmega had 3 batteries, all right? So I was able to accomplish 7 laps on 3 batteries, all right? That's pretty wild, okay? So that's a scoop there, all right? So that's what's supposed to happen. We're going to go race Dual Sport C, all right, on Sunday with the WR250E, okay? So what's the stuff that has changed since the last year, okay, guys? I've had this bike for a whole year, and HadesOmega I barely finished putting it together, getting it ready to race VCGP last year, and there was still some stuff that, that I wanted to do to it. All right, first, the steg pegs, all right? I did not have steg pegs last year, all right? I had ordered them and was waiting for them to come from Australia, and they just didn't make it in time for the race, unfortunately, okay? So, I have steg pegs this year, all right? I raced the Biltwell 100 2 weeks ago, okay, with the steg pegs, and I loved them, all right? They were great, all right? They are great for desert riding, all right? And I'll let you guys know how they did after for VCGP, okay, guys? And then, new batteries, okay? So HadesOmega got 2 new batteries this year, okay? Recently this year, okay? This battery right here, okay? So you'll see this battery that's in the bike right now, this is the one I finished the race in, all right? This is the one I started the race in, okay? And you'll notice these batteries have 2 discharge connectors on them, all right? These other batteries only have 1 discharge connector, okay? So these 2 batteries are higher performance batteries, okay? These are Amorge 10 Power 50 XG packs, okay? They have the cells called 10, they're made by a brand called 10 Power, and the cell model is 50 XG. It's a 5,000 milliampere battery, and it holds 10 more amp hours than these batteries, and it's the same size, all right? But it has 2 connectors coming out of it, all right? And it can discharge, it's much higher performance. It's almost double the performance of these packs here, okay, guys? So it's higher performance, and it can go farther, okay, guys? So that's a scoop. All right, so, and I used them during the Biltwell race, and they did excellent, all right? I was able to go 24 miles in the desert and with 1 pack. What's that? Yeah, 24 miles in the desert with 1 pack, all right, guys? And then and I only used these 2. I brought all these batteries again, and I only used these 2 batteries, so yeah, go figure, okay? So yeah, these batteries are much better than, they're an upgrade over the old batteries, okay, guys? I still like the old batteries, but these ones are just, it's just like the extra icing on the cake, all right, guys? The extra 10 amp hours of capacity and extra discharge, all right, makes it totally worth it, okay, guys? Okay, and then so I think, also I have softer springs, all right? This one, Techniques Racing, all right? I bought some softer springs, some custom Japanese springs, guys, from Japan, all right? They make it for this bike in Japan. These are the softest springs you can buy for this bike, all right, because I thought the suspension was too stiff on it, all right. Apparently this bike had lost so much weight that the suspension was too stiff for me as a rider, okay, guys. And you'll find out that it's still too stiff for Virginia City, okay, type of thing, all right. Yep, and other than that, the bike is pretty much the same as last year, okay, guys. So just the steg pegs, the new batteries, all right, and we still have the old batteries, and then the softer springs, okay, so we got softer fork springs, and in the desert they worked great, all right, I loved them in the desert. But also, HadesOmega got new gear. All right, you notice the gear that I'm wearing, the jersey and pants right now I'm wearing. These are brand new. All right, well they were kind of brand new. Now they're kind of messed up thanks to Virginia City. Okay, but anyway, I got a new jersey. All right, and pants. These are the Liat Enduro gear. Okay, guys, and in the stone camouflage color. Okay, guys. This is what I'm rocking now. I like them because they have pockets in them, alright? So I can actually take stuff with me on the trails, alright? So the good thing about this is I was able to put extra camera with me, alright? I was able to bring an extra camera with me, and I was able to take my phone with me. So that's what I like about these pants, okay, guys? So these are like my kind of trail riding pants, alright? And then I got some new knee pads, alright? And I bought a new buckle for my boot because it broke before the Biltwell race. All right, and then I finally got one that worked. Okay, guys. Okay. Oh, also before the race, I changed the chain. I put a brand new chain on the bike. All right, because it was a year since we had the other chain, and it's been through a couple races, and I've noticed it just keeps on stretching every race. Okay, guys. Every race, I'm having to tighten this thing, man. Okay. Okay. So another thing is I noticed this bike does not like to have the chain loose. Okay, guys, when it's loose, it's kind of noisy and it gets hung up and stuff. I feel like that sprocket is too big for this bike. Okay, that is not like a standard sprocket for this bike. For whatever reason, the previous owner went with that sprocket, and that's the one that I've been using. All right, because it's like the biggest sprocket you could put on a WR250E. Okay, guys. So it gives you the most torque, and it'll give you the most range on the trails. Okay, so that's the reason why HadesOmega uses it. All right, remember I built this thing for Virginia City. Okay. Okay, so this is what really happens. All right, guys. So anyway, yeah. So the plan was to go to Virginia City. I go there on Friday. I watch the races on Saturday, and also I do a little homework. All right, that's kind of like what I did during the Biltwell race, except the Biltwell race. Our race was on Saturday. I didn't realize that. I was like, oh, whoa, we're racing tomorrow. Damn, you better get ready. So yeah. So I watched the races on Friday. I watched the races on Saturday. I get ready, all right? I get the registration and all that stuff ready on Friday since I'm already there. And then Saturday we race, okay, guys? And then so I like to thank Ted, all right? Ted is the dude that we raced in the first electric race, and we've had many battles since then, and we're like buddies now, all right, guys? So anyway, Ted owns a piece of property in Virginia City, and yeah, so we just hang out at Ted's place every year, okay, guys? So thanks to Ted for the accommodations. He gave me a place where I can camp out at his place, okay, guys? So every year it just gets increasingly harder to find a place to stay for Virginia City Grand Prix, okay, guys? Because they've got literally every day is about 400 racers, okay, guys? 400 racers every day, so that 400 people are going to come into town, and it's just gonna be jam packed, okay, guys? It is a pretty popular race, all right. Some people were saying it didn't seem like there were as many bikes as there were in previous years, but I think there were just a good amount of bikes, okay, guys. And I think that so another thing about Virginia City Grand Prix is that you have to pre-register now, okay, guys? There is no, you can't just walk up and, hey, I want to race in this class. There's no more of that, okay, guys? You have to pre-register. Yeah, so you have to do it online, and HadesOmega doesn't like doing that because of the first race I raced. It rained a lot, and if I knew it was going to rain like that, I wouldn't have raced, okay, guys? That's the scoop, all right, guys? So I said I'll never pre-register again, and then now we're kind of stuck having to pre-register. Okay, so we're just kind of stuck racing in whatever weather. Okay, guys. So last year the weather was really bad, man. It was snowing a lot. It was snowing and really, really cold. That's the first time I've ever raced in snow, and it wasn't so bad. I'll take racing in snow over rain any day. Okay, guys. Rain is awful. Okay. Snow, at least it's not as wet. All right, guys. It's freezing, but it's not wet. All right. So anyway, so that's the scoop, guys. So yeah, we have to pre-register. So when it opened up, HadesOmega just signed up for the Dual Sport class. So we go there Friday. I go meet up with Ted, and he says, hey, you can go camp out here, all right? And then and so that's what we do. And then I unload the bike, and then we go register, and then so I'm bike number 874, as you can see, all right? So it's still the red sticker, okay, guys? Since we're doing the red loop on Sunday, and we're bike number 874. If you look on the roster, all right, the racing roster, I am literally the last bike on the list, okay, guys? So hopefully HadesOmega is the last bike out, but I'm not gonna be the last bike in. All right, guys. That's my goal. All right, to not come in last at least. Okay, that would be a big L for me. All right, guys. So anyway, so yeah, so that's a scoop. So I'm number 874 racing in Dual Sport Novice. Okay, guys, since they don't have the electric class anymore, and yeah, so that's it. We just got the numbers. I got the tech sticker, all right. I still have to go to TAC, and they have to look at the bike, and I just tell them, hey, it's an electric bike, and they just slap a sticker on it like they do every year, okay, guys? So I've got a sticker for, like, every year I've raced, all right? So I have every tech sticker for 6 years, okay, guys? I have every tech sticker for the electric class, might I add, okay? Okay. So yeah, so we got all that taken care of on Friday, all right, and then I made sure the batteries were topped off on Saturday. I watched the races on Saturday, and I looked. So Saturday is a good day to do your homework, all right. Figure out kind of get an idea where the course is, at least in the town, okay, guys, and then go talk to the other racers and tell them, hey, so what was the course like, right? Which we can't really do that because on Saturday it's all the full loop, all right, guys. And the full loop is like literally half as long as it's literally twice as long as the red loop, okay, guys? That's the scoop, all right? But anyway, yeah, you get an idea for like how the conditions were, all right? That kind of stuff, all right? So if you're racing Virginia City Grand Prix, it pays. If you're going to race on Sunday, it pays to go on Saturday and do some homework before the race. So you know what's up, all right? you got some idea of what's going to be out there, all right, guys? I'm not gonna lie, every year it's a surprise, okay, guys? Alright, so 8 to 15 miles is the red loop, alright, guys? So, yeah, I did watch the racing on Saturday, and literally the course is like kind of like reverse of what it normally is. Like, normally, Virginia City, they race one direction, alright, around the dirt course around town, alright? And then some years they switch it up and they go backwards, all right? So this year was reversed from last year pretty much, okay, guys? With some extra stuff thrown in, I just want to say, all right, guys? Yeah, so it was kind of a reverse of last year, all right? I liked last year's course, all right? Last year's course was easy. That's why I liked it, okay? So yeah, I was able to go watch where everybody was going in and out and where the asphalt meets the pavement, where the asphalt meets... where the dirt meets the pavement and all that stuff, or where the asphalt meets the dirt and all that stuff, so I kind of had an idea where we're going, all right? Okay, so Sunday comes along, all right, guys? HadesOmega's got his batteries all topped off, ready to go, all right? And then so Ted drives us over to the pits early in the morning, like about around 7:30, 8 o'clock, all right? And I just take my batteries there. Ted had a toolbox in the pits, so I didn't bring my toolbox, but I did bring my toolbox, but I didn't bring my toolbox, all right, to the pits. And so I had the 4 batteries, all right, these 4 batteries in the pits, all right, not this one, but this one was in the bike, all right. So I have the 250XG batteries and the 3 E40P batteries, okay, guys. So my plan was to I have a 50XG 1 and 2, okay, guys. So the 1 was obviously, that's the one we started with, okay. So we put 1 in the bike, and then 2 is ready to go, all right. So the funky thing is that I have a dual discharge connector now, and the other batteries only have 1 discharge connector. So when we transition over to the E40P batteries, we gotta block off one of the discharge connectors, all right? So that's why this one has this little plastic baggie on it, all right, guys? Kind of like a condom, right? So I put a plastic bag over it, and I put a rubber band over it, all right, to keep dirt and water and all that stuff out of there, okay? Because you wouldn't want that stuff getting in your connectors, okay? Yeah, okay, so that's the scoop. So when we're gonna go put that 3rd battery in, all right, so we're gonna swap from this battery to the other 50xg battery, and then the first E40P battery, E40P1. All right, we're gonna block off one of the connectors with the plastic bag and put a rubber band around it, and then just connect it to the one connector that's free. Okay, guys, and then that way that'll keep it from getting dirty and all that stuff. Okay. I did it when we went to the Mojave Desert to go riding, and it worked pretty good. Okay. So I don't think it didn't rain all that much on me, is what I say. Okay, guys. So yes, what was the weather like? All right, it was cold and windy. All right, and kind of cloudy. All right. Yeah. It was cold, all right. It was supposed to be in the 30s, all right. They said a max temp of 37 degrees. That's what the forecast said, all right, guys. So it was gonna be cold, all right, guys, for sure. Okay, but that's good. I like racing when it's cold, all right, because you get to work up a sweat and you don't feel hot, all right. You're not sweating a whole lot, and you're not getting super thirsty because you're sweating a lot, okay. But you're definitely gotta get a workout, okay, guys. So, okay, so yeah. We go to the pits. I download all the batteries there. All right. I bring my backpack with a bunch of drinks and stuff. You know, generally I don't take a Camelback with me. Okay. While we're out there, when I go back to the pits, I like chug a water before I leave, or maybe eat something like a candy bar real quick, and then I head out. Okay. I take like a minute or two break. All right. I think it's important to take a quick break. All right. So you're fresh. Okay. So, the plan was, all right. So I heard from somebody, all right, that worked on the course, that the red loop is about 11 miles. Okay, so if that is true, I do know during the Biltwell race we got 24 miles off of this battery, and we probably could have done a couple more miles. Okay, guys. So if the course is 11 miles, that's going to be 22 miles for 2 laps. All right, roughly 22. And so that tells me that we can definitely do 2 laps on one battery. So that was my plan, was to do 2 laps on one battery. Okay, guys. So I would do lap 1 and 2 on this battery, and then 3 and 4 on that battery, and then maybe 5 and 6 on the weaker batteries. Okay, guys. We might be able to do 2 laps on those. I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure we could, because 11 miles is not a lot for these batteries. Right? These can go farther. Okay, so. I would say you could probably do at least 30 miles. That's my guess, all right, with these batteries, the new ones, okay? So I think we could definitely do it. So what does that mean? That we can do 2 laps, and we'll have extra charge left over. We can race however we want, all right? I don't have to be so conservative, okay, guys? Generally, if I don't know if I'm going to finish the race or not, HadesOmega does not race as fast as he can, okay, guys? Or I don't open up the throttle all the way, all right? I try not to, okay? I refrain from it, okay? So it kind of sucks, okay? So at times it kind of sucks. So yeah, so there's that, all right? So that's it, and then I eat something, and I'm drinking water, all right, before the race, because I know I'm gonna be racing for 3 hours, and I'm gonna be hungry, you know? So that kind of stuff, all right? So I eat a sandwich, and then I drink a Gatorade, and the night before I've been drinking water and all that stuff at Ted's place, and yeah, so like I'm ready to go, and yes, obviously you got to go to the bathroom. I try to go to the bathroom as much as I can before the race, all right, guys, because every time, man, once you get up there, you've got to go pee again, man, and we're the last ones out, okay, guys, so all right. So it's like a 9:30, and so HadesOmega heads up to the main street. Right, I know everybody's already up there, and we're at the end. So what's the point of going up there, you know, in the beginning? Because you're going to be at the back. So you go up there, wait till everybody's up there, and you go back there, and I park in the back, and then I look at the competition. All right, guys. So here's the competition. All right, this is the what's really happening part, guys. Okay. So HadesOmega is ready to go. I'm all geared up. The bike's all fired up. All right. It's cold out. A little bit cold, but there is like 400 plus riders on the main street, man. Yeehaw! All right. So the first bike I see that we're racing against is WR250. All right, guys. Some guy named Sam. All right, guys. And HadesOmega knows the WR250 because there's one sitting right back here. Okay, guys. Literally, it's almost the same bike. Like, you guys can't see it; it's out of the shot, but it's behind my KLR here. I'm building it into another adventure bike. Okay, guys. So HadesOmega actually very familiar with the DR650 SE, okay guys? I think it was literally the same model as the one that I have too, alright? It had the blue tank and the white plastics. Yeah, man. It was like, it's the exact same model as this one, right? Like a 2000 something model, okay guys? And yeah, so I know that bike very well, and I know that meets the requirements for the Dual Sport class to the T, alright guys? It's a purpose built, which means it's a dual purpose bike, alright guys? And it's 650 cc's minimum, right? And it's 650 cc's. So in my opinion, that is the bike that class is for. Those kind of bikes, like an XR 650. This bike, KLR 650, okay, guys? I wouldn't want to race the KLR. Well, I guess you could, man. It's kind of a big bike to use in this race, all right? I'm not going to lie. There were some big bikes out there, okay, guys? But yeah, let's talk about the Dual Sport class. So I see there is 2 other KTM bikes, all right? They had 870 something plates, all right? I know anything with 87 for the first 2 numbers we're racing against them, okay, guys? Man, I can't remember. Watch the beginning of the video. I'll talk about it, but there were 2 orange KTM bikes, all right? And there were 2 Hondas, two-stroke Hondas, all right? And I'm like, these aren't 650cc, and these don't look like dual sports. They look like dirt bikes to me, man. I mean, at least the two-stroke bikes, all right, they look like a CR250. That's my guess what they were, all right, CR250. It was a pair of CR250s, is my guess. They were kind of old looking, and they had plates on them. They were on the rear fender, like sideways, all right. So, I mean, like I heard in Nevada, it's not hard to get a license plate for your dirt bike, okay, guys? So, but like, I didn't see any turn signals on them. I didn't see like a tail light on them. Right? Maybe I think the KTM had like a tail light on it. So it might have been a dual sport. I don't know, man. All right. I know there are some like Husky and KTM dual sports. All right. So yeah, they might have been dual sports, but one, they didn't have plates on them. None of the KTMs had plates on them. All right, guys. Like that is like kind of definitive answer for the definition of a dual sport is that it's plated at least, right? At the very least. At least the Hondas had plates, okay, guys? But that's not 650cc, okay, guys? And then I don't think those KTMs were 650cc either, okay, guys? I don't know what size they were. I didn't ask, okay, guys? And then there was another KTM. I think it was a KTM, and it had like some stickers on it, right? It had like a graphics kit on it. It was all like kind of colorful looking, white and colorful looking. It was the 875 bike, okay? Because I remember it during the race, okay, guys? So yeah, all right. There was the DR650, the 3 KTMs, all right, and then the 2 Hondas, all right. 6. So there was 7 of us, okay? There was 7 of us. All right. The weird thing is that 875 bike doesn't show up on the whatchamacallit, the timing, the score, okay? So I remember I saw that bike out there a couple times. Or maybe it does. I don't know. Let me see. I do know there was a guy on a KTM, and he said he raced against me. Okay, so I think he got 3rd. So, yeah. Yeah, I talked to him. I talked to him at the end, at the award ceremony. Okay, guys? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there was only 5 registered in that class, but I saw other 2 bikes. There was an 875 bike. You know what? Maybe that's a Diva bike. Maybe they just put her in the wrong number. Oh yeah. There's an 876 and an 875. Okay, I found them. So one of the bikes, 876 is a KTM. The 875 is KTM. Okay, so the other 2 KTMs that I saw that were 870 numbers, they weren't racing with us. Okay, I mean they started with us. That was kind of weird because they got the same number. So I guess they got screwed. They had to start behind all the other Divas, but they were actually in the Diva class. I don't know how that happened, okay, guys? Maybe they're like, they didn't have them in the... Maybe didn't have enough room for where we were. How many Divas were there? Yeah, they only had like 800... The Divas only go to 830 something. Yeah, the Divas only go to 830. I don't understand how they mix their numbers up, okay, guys? But there's a 75 and a 76 bike, all right? 875, 876 bike, and we weren't racing against them. They were Divas, okay, guys? So I guess the Divas a female racing class, okay, guys? HadesOmega can't race in it, all right? Because I don't meet the requirements, okay? But anyway, yeah. So that's the scoop, all right? Yeah, so those other 2 bikes were Diva bikes, and so there was really only 5 people in our class, all right? The 2 Hondas, the Suzuki, me and the Yamaha, and the KTM, all right, guys? So it's like a 4-way, it was a 4-way Japanese bike race versus the 1 Austrian bike, okay, guys? All right, but yeah, the Hondas, questionable whether you can call that a dual sport. The KTM, questionable whether you can call that a dual. Maybe it was. I don't know. I didn't ask him about his bike. All right, guys. But the DR650 definitely met the requirements for that class. Okay, guys. You expect to see bikes like a DR650, XR650, those kind of bikes. All right. KLR650, those kind of bikes. All right. Okay, so yeah, so we're racing, all right, guys. So we make it to the front. I make sure I reset all the stats on my GPS right before we get to the front line, all right, and then the green light goes up, and so well, the green flag goes up, all right, guys, and we're on the last row, and HadesOmega was 874, but I chose to line up all the way on the left, all right, guys, and well, if you start on the left, you don't have to turn that much to get down the street, right? Because when the green flag goes up, you immediately go left, okay, guys? So it's in your best, in my opinion, it's your best interest to stay on the left as much as possible, all right? Well, honestly, the way it should line up is there should be the 871, 872, 873, 874. So I should be the 4th one from the left to go, all right? But I kind of snuck in there. I stayed on the left all the way when we lined up, and then so I got the whole shot. Alright, guys, so you got the whole shot. So green light goes out, boom, we take off. All right, and then I head down the thing, and like I brap it pretty good. I think I'm in mode. I may be in mode 3. Remember, we have a full charge, all right, and we're charging down this hill, all right, guys. There's this long, maybe it's got to be make a 1/4 mile, maybe even like a 1/2 mile street that we go race down, all right, and it's stepped, all right, it's stepped. So whenever you go off at one step, you can get a little bit of air and go down to the next one, okay, guys? Yeah, every year it's the same start, all right, guys. So boom, we go, and I got the whole shot. Everyone's behind me, all right, and then I see vintage bikes in front of us and divas, and I'm like trying to pass them and everything. I was like, why are these guys going so slow going down the hill? Hurry up, man! So I give it a little more power, and then when we get to the bottom of the hill, that's the time to start slowing down, all right, guys? And remember, we don't have regen. The battery is fully charged, and we just went straight down this hill, and yeah, so it's up to the front and the rear brake to slow the bike down, all right? So I start giving it some front and rear brake, maybe like, I don't know, like 20, 30 feet before the corner, because I know from watching the race the other day that it just, at the bottom, it just makes a hard left, all right? It's like a 90-degree left, really tight, all right? So you got to slow down, all right? They even tell you before the race, you better slow down when you get to the bottom, all right? So it goes left, you go straight up 1 block, and then it goes right, all right? So don't go too fast because you're going to make another right turn, all right? And then you're going to go down a hill, and you're going to go down 6 Mile Canyon Road, all right, guys? That's the road that we race up against normally to get back to town, but this time we're using it to exit the town. So remember, the race course is pretty much reverse of what it normally is, okay, guys? So so eventually you go down 6 Mile Canyon Road, maybe like a 1/4 mile, and it curves a little bit, and then it goes left onto like a kind of gravel road, all right? And then I heard a lot of people blew that turn, man. They just went straight down 6 Mile because they were going too fast. But yeah, I make the turn into there, and I'm passing bikes, and then it's the most dreaded section of the whole course, all right? At least for me it was, all right, guys? You go up, all right, guys? No, you go down this road, and then you start to see a lot of bikes just like piled up, all right, guys? It's a bottleneck, all right, guys? It's the first bottleneck of the race, all right, guys? So and remember, we've got like 400 racers in front of us, all right, guys? So like we get to see all the carnage, all right, guys? And so I call the first section the landmine hill climb, all right, guys? Because it's a steep hill climb. It's steep and it's silty, and it's got like I mean, there's some kind of like brush shrubs and stuff in it, but it's got these freaking it's got these big rocks. They're big rocks. Like they're not baby heads or anything, man. They're big. They're like that, all right? That big a rock, but they're like kind of flat too, okay? So you can kind of run over them, all right? It's kind of like a talus rocks. They're those kind of sheet rocks, all right? But they're just kind of like, they're like out there, like a checkerboard sort of. It's like they were like all evenly placed and everything, and you just gotta either go around them. Some of them are really steep. You don't want to go around them, all right, guys? And there's just like bikes everywhere. They're trying to get up the hill. People are stalling, and the bikes are falling over and all that because it's steep, all right, guys. So and I'll tell you this, man, this thing is just awful in the rocks, man, especially in stuff like that. If you need to have momentum to get up that stuff. If you stop, it's all bad because I can't. This bike is tall and it's hard for me to put my feet on the ground. If I had the light B, I wouldn't have that problem. Okay, I probably could have got up that hill pretty easily with the light B. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, and in that carnage condition. Okay, guys, the bottleneck. All right, but this one I had trouble, man. I had to stop a couple times. I almost dropped the bike a couple times. Fortunately, I didn't. What happens is like you're going up and you're not going very fast, and you have to roll over a rock, and it slows you down so much, and then you like kind of panic a little bit, and you try to dab, but you're on a steep hill and it's tall, and like you try to dab, but there's nothing to dab there because like maybe the wheel got stuck on a rock or something, and the bike is elevated a little. Yeah, man, it's you name it, man. Okay, but anyway, HadesOmega kind of picked his way through there, all right? We have the electric bike. We don't have to worry about it stalling at least. So HadesOmega kind of paddled around. It was very difficult, all right? Like I said, those rocks were big. It was hard to go over them, all right, if you had to. They were everywhere, man. It was like, yeah, it was a rock garden, all right, guys? But I call them landmines because they're just big and flat looking, man. So, and then, yeah, so I kind of picked my way. I kind of go left. There's like a lot of ways that you could go. It's a pretty wide path, all right. It's not like a double track or anything. It's really a wide hill, but you're just going up it, and there's just rocks everywhere. And there's the problem is there's bikes everywhere, right? And you're trying to get around these people, and they're blocking your way. So you have to take a harder route or do some other stuff that you wouldn't normally do. Okay, so HadesOmega is just picking his way through. I've almost dropped the bike like 3 times already, guys, and I'm like exhausted. I'm getting tired, all right, guys. I know it's the beginning of the race. I shouldn't be too tired. And I make it to the first top of the hill, okay? When you make it to the first top of the hill, there's silt, guys. There's silt at the top of the hill. There's no traction in the silt, man, all right? These 4 old tires, man, yeah, they don't like the silt. I found that out, all right, guys? So, and then you go up, and there's like, it's kind of like a single track that goes, it's kind of like a rocky single track. There's rocks on the side, but it's a single track, and you go down and up and down, and there's still rocks everywhere, and then there's still bottlenecks, and yeah, people are like dropping their bike, and they're getting stuck, and HadesOmega tried his best to get around, all right, and it took a long time to get around everybody, all right, but HadesOmega made it to the top, all right. I'm not going to lie, we probably just passed like 50 bikes right there, okay, guys? So, congratulations, HadesOmega, you're not going to be last now, okay, guys? So, you made it through the bottleneck, HadesOmega, and you make it to the top, all right? Yeah, it is an ordeal to get to the top, all right, guys? You make it to the top, and then you see, like, oh, there's nobody, there's nobody in front of me. There's not a lot of bikes in front of me anymore. We can start rolling, all right? And so we do, all right? You go down this silty double track, and then you can kind of take a break now, all right? Because it's the downhill portion. Remember, you went up a really steep hill. Now you're gonna start going down, all right? Whenever you go up, you're gonna go down, all right, guys? And then, oh yeah. So like as I'm going to the double track section, all right, I see the DR650, all right. I think the DR650 was the 8. What was his bike number, man? All right, his name was Sam, but I didn't know that. But I know his bike was 873, okay? Okay, yeah. So I see the 873, the DR650, man. All right, I'm not going to lie. A DR650 it's a pretty rare bike to see out there, all right, guys? In a sea of, like, KTMs and, you know, all these other dirt bikes and all that stuff, a DR is really easy to spot, all right, guys? And I see him. He takes off. So I'm headed up to that double track where, like, it opens up. And then I see the DR650 take off, all right? So he must have made it up the hill, took a break, All right, he made it up before me. Okay, guys. So hats off to him, man. That thing is a beast, man. That thing is a heavy bike. All right. If you stopped on that bike, it would be tough. All right, is what I want to say. Yeah, it's not light. All right, but it is not very tall. All right, that's another thing. Actually, believe it or not, the DR650 is actually a lower bike than this bike. Okay, guys. But anyway, so that's a scoop. I see him, and then so we're kind of racing down. I think he takes off before I get there. All right, and so I'm chasing him. All right, I'm chasing him for a while, and I think after a while he kind of disappears. All right, and then just the rest of the race is just like, you go down a hill, and then it's just rocky. You just go over these rocks and everything. There's just rocks everywhere. Okay, guys, it's awful, guys. And then so every once in a while you go in a single track. Yeah, you'll go in a single track and you're gonna get stuck behind people. And I think I'm not gonna lie, the majority of the passing was that hill climb, the very first hill climb. After that, HadesOmega didn't really do a whole lot of passing. Okay, guys. Every once in a while we'll come up on a slow bike, but we were the ones getting passed. Okay, guys. So, and I would hear a bike come up behind me, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, just go. Like, that's the most annoying thing, is like to trying to let other riders pass you. Okay, guys. So there's, eventually you'll come up on a rider and you're gonna try to pass them. All right, and then so I think there were 3 red loop intersections. Okay, guys. So the red loop is literally half the length of the full route. Okay, guys. I think the full route is close to like 22 point something miles. All right, that's what some people were telling me. All right, so ours is only like 11 something miles, but we won't know until we actually finish it. Okay, guys. So I think we get to the first intersection pretty easily. All right, we're there already, and I'm like hella tired already from trying to get up that hill. It took a long time to get up that hill. Okay, guys. I think my first lap took the longest just because of that, because I was trying to get around the bottleneck. Okay, guys. But apparently the DR650 got up there before us, and yeah, so I think he just took off. Every once in a while I would see the DR650. All right, I don't know what happens. Is he like taking a break or something? I'm not sure. Okay, so. But yeah, we would go on the red. You would see the red loop and then the black loop, or the regular loop would just go like that, right? Usually we would go right, all right? So we go right, and then it would just take us. The first red loop takes you takes you back on the regular route. Basically, you go, maybe you ride like a quarter mile down the dirt road, and then it takes you to the regular course, okay? And then you'll see the guys on the regular course go by, all right, because they're faster. Okay, guys, I'm not gonna lie, they're the novices, all right. That's what they call them, all right. Right? Yeah, pros and amateurs are on Saturday. So, anyway, so yeah, and then you're in there, with the other guy. You're mixed up with the other bikes again, all right. So there's no more red loopers. Every once in a while, I would see a vintage bike pass me. Okay, guys. So. Yeah, these vintage bikes are fast, man. Some of these vintage racers, number 800, I saw a lot of times pass me, man. And then there was another one, really fast one. It was a CZ. I think it was like a black and white CZ or a white and black one. And that thing just blazed right past me, all right? All right. Apparently, that guy was the winner of the vintage class, all right? So, anyway, so yeah, we're just riding. And yeah, there's just rocks all over the place on the trails, and you can't relax at all on the trail. Okay, guys, it's one thing after another. It's just rocks. All right, baby heads all over the place. All right. So one thing about this bike is this bike does not like rocks at all. Okay, front hits a rock, the front gets all, discombobulated. The rear hits a rock. It gets thrown out of thing. There are a lot of oh shit moments, okay, on the trails, all right, where like the front gets hit by a rock and it just gets all crazy, all right. So HadesOmega, I've been looking into it, guys. I'm looking into getting a steering dampener, all right, guys. This bike definitely needs it, all right. The steering is just too fast on this bike, or it's crazy fast on this bike. This bike doesn't have a lot of rake, okay, guys. It's got like a dirt bike geometry on it, all right, guys, or like a motocross bike. Okay, so anyway, yeah. we're getting kicked over by the rocks all over the place. All right, HadesOmega is trying his best. All right, and most of the time you'll see like a big rock, and you'll just think like, man, oh, I don't know if I got time to go around it, so I'll just try to go over it, right? And it would slow you down a lot. Another thing about the electric bike is like, it kind of feels like you're riding a like a dirt bike with a lightened flywheel. Okay, guys. So every little thing you do will make the bike slow down. All right, that's what it seems like. Whenever you hit a rock, like it doesn't have that momentum to carry you on over the rock. It just kind of, it's like a big speed bumper, right, guys? The good thing is on the downhills you can kind of, you could use the rocks to slow down. All right, guys. You gotta be real careful though, and obviously you gotta be careful with the big rocks and stuff. I'm really scared of like the big rocks on the side, and I'm afraid of my boot hitting it and it ripping my boot off the foot peg and destroying my ankle like it did the first year at Virginia City. Okay, guys. Yeah, dude, it was. I got like a permanent injury from one Virginia City where like I twisted my ankle really, really bad. Okay, guys. Oh, it was in a rut. That's what happened. The light bee went through a rut and it ripped my foot off. So I'm really careful looking on the trails, like all the rocks and stuff. I try to keep my feet. Sometimes I take my feet off the foot pegs, But the good thing about this bike is much taller than a light bee. Okay, guys. So the foot pegs are much taller, so you're not gonna rub up on stuff, okay, as much is what I want to say. All right, you still will, but not as much. All right, and yeah, so we're doing okay. I got the steg pegs. All right. I'm not gonna lie, the steg pegs help you on like flat or uphills most, okay? Because like you kind of want to just like lock your boots into them, and then it just kind of holds you up, right? And then you can keep your body held up with your legs, and then you don't have to work your arms as much. Your arms don't get as tired, okay, guys? But I'm not gonna lie, I got really tired during the race, okay, guys? But I'll talk about that after thing, okay, guys? So. There's the two other red loop interchanges, okay? So and then you're looking at the signs, but the signs kind of tell you like how far you're going if you're on the full loop. So when you get to like about 18, you're getting pretty close. You start to notice, hey, I think we're going back to Virginia City, all right, guys? So and then so I'm looking at the thing and I'm like, we're like at 8 or something, and then like lots of bikes are passing us. I don't think I may have seen the DR650. We were kind of close to the DR650 for a little while, okay, guys? So the thing about the DR650 is it's pretty good on gas, all right, guys? It can go 100 miles, It can go 100 miles on a tank, okay, guys? He had the stock tank on it, so yeah. He could do about 100 miles on that thing, so he could pretty easily finish the race, all right? Okay. So we're nearing the end, all right, guys? There's yeah, man, there's some sections where like there's some silt. It becomes single track. There's silt, and then somebody will pass you, and then they'll just totally dust you. Okay, guys? There was tons of dust everywhere. Okay, guys? There's just little silt pockets all over the place, and then somebody would go in there and then brap you, and then dust everywhere. Okay, guys? I wore my balaclava or headstock over my mouth, but I didn't wear it over my nose because I wanted to breathe better. Well, apparently it's not a good idea. Okay, guys, I should have covered my nose too. All right, guys, but yeah, we would get dusted big time. All right, guys, I would have to wipe the cameras all the time. All right, so we're still on the first camera. All right, we're on the first lap, and so you're starting. Yeah, so eventually you'll start to see Virginia City. Like you'll be on the side of a hill, and then you'll see Virginia City. You're like, oh, we're headed back. All right, so and maybe we're about like 8 or 9 miles, all right? So remember, it's like about 11 miles from what I heard, okay, guys? Okay, so there's this hill that, in the start of the race, there's a bottleneck, okay, guys? And I know it because I raced the other configuration where it goes the other direction, all right? So when the race is normally going the other direction, there's a hill, and then there's a hard split, all right? There's a hard split and an easy split, all right? So I know the easy split, it takes you over, or takes you around the mountain. It's longer, all right? It's longer, it's whooped out and everything, all right? But it's not steep, okay? And then it takes you to that hill that's really steep, and everybody bottlenecks there, all right? Or you can take the hard route, and it takes you up this really steep hill, and it's got these kind of roots sticking out and stuff, but it's for the most part, it's kind of flat. If you can get a lot of momentum and drive going up, and you just charge up that thing, man, you can get up there pretty easily. I get up there on the light beat pretty easily. Okay, but we're going down it this time. Okay, guys. So you're riding around this ridge, and you can kind of see Virginia City on your left. Then you see all this mining equipment and stuff. I don't think I've ever been up there. I'm not sure. All right, you go there, and then you go down this hill. You make a left, and then you see the signs for. It says harder and easier, right? And I know, like, oh, I know what the harder is. The harder is that steep hill that you go up, all right? But we're going down it. So, and so the day before when I saw people racing on that, I was like, you know what? It's kind of to our advantage to take the harder split, because we can go down it, and I can use the regen throttle to charge the battery. Okay, we just ride the regen all the way down, all right? And we'll charge some of the battery, and then yeah, we're going down the hill. It's not going to eat up any power. In fact, it's good for us. We can just charge. Also, it's a shortcut, all right? We don't have to go around the hill. We just go straight down it, all right? So that's what HadesOmega did every lap, okay, guys? I knew it. I knew it was steep, all right? And that's what I would do, okay? I would just scooch my butt back, get on that regen throttle, all right? When I get on the regen, it slows, makes the bike engine brake. And also, I found out the problem with this bike, all right, guys? That's another thing I fixed, okay, guys? From last year, this battery, the battery's cut out when they're at 20 amps of charge, okay, guys? So if you're pumping 20 amps into the battery, the regen cuts out, and then it doesn't regen anymore, and then you have to get on the brakes right away. If that happens on a steep downhill like that, it could kill you, okay, guys? So I found out how to set up the BMS settings so it won't do that, right? So I have it set up, instead of 20 amps, it can do 60 amps of charge, all right, for 30 seconds, all right? And then, so 30 seconds, that should be more than enough time to, you know, to go down the hill. I don't know how much we're regenning. I don't really pay attention, all right, guys? Like, I can't pay attention. I have to, you know, go look where I'm going so I don't die, all right, guys? There's a couple loose rocks in certain places. I mean, you could go through it. For the most part, the trail was pretty tidy, okay? There's some roots that you got to go up over, all right? But we're going down. It's not a big problem. We don't have to. It is not going to. I mean, it will slow us down, and that's a good thing. So you could go over the route, down the route, and then it'll slow you down a little bit. And then there's like a kind of like a rut on the left, and so that's what I would do. I would kind of go through like the S turns. It's kind of like a bunch of S turns going down the hill, and then on the left there's a rut on the when you're getting close to the bottom. You just ride that out, and then it merges. Okay, it merges with the easy route. Okay, guys, and then it takes you back to Virginia City. All right, guys. So you take that road back. That's that road that goes to the school. Okay, okay. That's normally where we race. That's the first part we race. We go past the school. Well, that's the last part we race. We go the opposite way. Okay, guys. So you go up that road. It transitions from dirt to asphalt, all right? You go straight, and then you make a left, and then it takes you up the town, all right, guys? There's a pretty, yeah, you'll do like a left turn, and then you'll do a right turn, and then there'll just be this little whoop section, and then it's pretty, it's wide, and it's flat gravel, and it goes uphill a little bit, all right? And you can just pin that sucker, man. So I just open that sucker up, I take off, and then you it kind of takes a tight left turn, and then it goes onto the asphalt, all right? You go down the asphalt, you pass the school, and then there's a stop sign, and you go up the road to the pits, all right, guys? So I'm looking at the charge, all right, guys? I go race up the hill, all right, as fast as I can, all right, guys. We're using 100% of what the bike can give us, all right, in mode 3, might I add, okay. Most of the time, HadesOmega uses mode 2 or 3, all right. I'm not gonna lie, it's just like last year. At some point I just kept it in mode 3, okay, guys. So yeah, at one point I just kept the bike in mode 3, and mode 3 is a lot of power, man. It just gives you all the power. It's like 20 something kilowatts. It's like tons of power, and it comes on fast, all right, guys, because it has got a lot of phase amps. If I'm gonna tune this bike for Virginia City next year, I'm gonna either give the bike more deadband. That's probably what I didn't do. I should have probably added more deadband. I should have put like 10% of throttle deadband. so the bike doesn't feel so jerky on the takeoff. So I can twist it a little bit more, and then it'll go. Okay, guys. Or I can lower the phase amps for the Mode 3. All right, so it won't have as much kick when you open the throttle. All right, guys. So there's a couple things we can do. I thought the Mode 3 was too twitchy, and then the Mode 2 is I just kind of have to open it a lot, and it's just making me more tired, you know. So like I kind of couldn't get that happy medium. But I'm not gonna lie, I kept it in 3, cause like when you're going down a thing and it just goes up right away, you want to get back on the throttle right away, and you just crack that sucker open, and it just takes off like a rocket. Okay, guys. So like it's just less effort for me. Okay, guys. And anyway, yeah, we were going up the hill, and then when we get to the finish line, all right, I check to see how much charge we got, all right, and we've got like 75% at the top of the hill after I let go of the throttle. I'm like, we're at 75%, dude. We got plenty of charge. We could pretty easily do a third lap. So I'm thinking maybe we're gonna do a third lap on the first battery, all right. So, and oh yeah. So also, when we get to the finish line, I look at the trip meter on the GPS. All right, the GPS not there, but I'm looking on the GPS, and it says 11.5. All right, so with the shortcut that we took, it's 11.5. My guess is if you didn't take the shortcut, so I'm telling you, the shortcut and the easy and the hard split way back, if you took the shortcut, it's gonna take longer to go around the hill, and it's not gonna be as steep. And so you're not going to gain as much power versus you're going to go down a steep hill and you're just going to regen all the way down, and it's going to be shorter. It's like total. It's a win-win to take the harder route, right? Other than like, yeah, if somebody crashed there or something, it would be kind of hard to get around them, right? Yes, it is dangerous, all right, guys. It's steep, all right. If you go too fast, you could crash really bad, okay, guys. So that's the name of the game: being able to control the speed of your bike, all right, and not hit a tree or go off the thing, or that kind of stuff. Because if you crash there, it's bad news. Okay, guys. But yeah, other than it being more dangerous, you get more charge and you don't ride as far. Okay, guys. So you cut your time and distance down. So anyway, we're taking that shortcut, made it 11.5 miles. Okay, guys. So I'm thinking, I'm like, well, we can do. I know for sure we can do 24 miles on these batteries. So I would think maybe we could definitely do 2 laps for sure. 3 laps, maybe we can do it, right? Because if we eat up 25% a lap, then that's like 25%. You'd be at 50% when you come back, all right, guys. So that's a scoop, guys. But so in the built roll race, HadesOmega noticed this battery, the first battery, that's the first battery. The first battery had lower charge than the other battery when I came back. So something seems to be up with one of these batteries where the range isn't as good as the other one, all right? I'm getting more voltage drop from one than the other, okay? It seems like the second battery is the better of the two, okay, is what I want to say. But anyway, that's besides the point. I know we can do 2 laps. So we don't pit in, all right? So no pit in. I go back out, all right? And I know we can do at least 2 laps, so we're going to do this second lap, and then I'm going to figure out I'm going to make the decision if we're going to do a third lap when we come back, okay, guys? And then so the idea was, if I was around 40% charge, I would say, okay, let's go do a third lap, all right? So that's the idea, all right, guys? So anyway, we go back down. I've got like a 75% charge, and we go down the hill, and I just blast it going down the hill. All right, guys, I go as fast as the bike will let me go. You look at the max speed on the GPS. It says we're going like 61 miles per hour. Okay, guys, yeah, we're going 60 miles an hour going down this steep ass freaking asphalt road. It's stepped too. All right, guys. And then I use the regen to slow it down when we get to the kind of the last block before the left turn, and then I know what's coming up. I was like, oh shit, man, it's the landmine hill, man. I don't want to go up that thing. So every time I have to go back up that hill, man, I'm just like, damn, man, I don't want to do it. Okay, but I was like, well, you know what? This time it won't be so bad. There's not going to be as many bikes stuck there. Okay, guys, I'm not gonna lie. dude, every lap I came back to that landmine hill, there was like at least a handful of bikes. There's something wrong, you know. They were stalled there, or they fell over, something. All right, it was nasty. Okay, guys. Um, so I was like, all right, let's go, and we take off. I think I got it in mode 3, and I think the second one was probably the worst, my worst run up that hill. I got stuck a couple times. The bike kind of like went sideways when I hit a rock or something. And I think I might have dropped the bike. I think I did drop the bike on the second time I went up there. Okay, guys, and like so the key to going up this hill is to not slow down. You don't want to slow down. You want to slow down. Don't slow down. Try not to hit rocks, and if you do, get enough momentum to pop your bike over the rock and keep on going. Okay, guys, or go around the rock if you can, man. But it's tough, dude. They're just out there to get you, man. What can I say? All right, and then you go past the first section. There's not a lot of rocks, and then the second section, that's where all the big rocks are. And then there's a third section after. When you get to the top, there's another section that goes up again. Okay, and it's pretty nasty also. Okay, so here's one thing Ted told me. All right, so after the race, I told Ted like, hey, have you ever raced up this hill? And he's like, no, we haven't raced up that hill in a long time. He said Virginia City hasn't used this course, part of the course, in a long time. It's like, so it was something new they had this year, and I don't like it. Okay, guys, it is freaking awful. Okay, guys. Yeah, I was just like, what the hell is that? And then so even Ted knew, like, yeah, we haven't ridden up this thing in a while. It was freaking awful, man. So anyway, I managed to get up it, and I'm exhausted, dude. Yeah, so yeah, I remember the second lap, I dropped the bike like 2 or 3 times or something. Okay, and like every time you have to pick the bike up, it just eats up at your stamina. Fortunately, there's some people out there helping people pick up bikes and stuff, so that was good. I think one of them helped me pick up my bike. I think I fell over on somebody's bike also, and they're like, oh, hey man, sorry, I fell over on his front wheel. And I was like, oh shit, let me get up, man. I'm like, oh, I hate that, man. I hate that when you fall and you block somebody, or somebody falls because you fell or something. Okay, but anyway, so that was the scoop, man. It was awful the second time around, right? I noted when I got to the top where it starts to flatten out again and you start going downhill, that I was significantly more tired than last time. I was like, shit, man, like, it's supposed to be easier. There's less bikes, but it's not. All right. Oh yeah. So also, I didn't go over my first lap time. So I think I was looking at my moving time on the GPS, and it said 55 minutes. I was like, fuck. It took me like almost an hour to finish one lap. That means we can only do like 3 laps, right? It's freaking nuts, right? Yeah, it took me a long time to finish that first lap just because of that bottleneck, man. Just because of that. That's it. I think everything else wasn't too difficult, everything else. That's what I want to say. Okay, other than, yeah, it beats the shit out of you, okay, guys? So on the second lap, yeah, I feel I'm like significantly more tired than the last time I went up that section because I dropped the bike a bunch of times. So I told myself, hey man, if you gotta just like kind of just paddle your way up it, just don't drop the bike, all right? If you gotta walk your bike up the hill with the throttle and all that stuff, that's fine, all right? Just, all right, and so that's what I told myself, all right? Anyway, we continue racing. I'm not sure. On the second lap, I'm not sure if I saw any of the bikes we were racing against. I might have seen the WR650. I think I did run into the WR650 again. So me and him were actually racing, but I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I saw the WR650, it would take off. I couldn't catch up to it, man. What can I say, dude? He was good on that machine, man. And yeah, so we're racing. I get the second lap done. The second lap, I think I go down the hill on the second lap, and there's somebody stuck, like somebody fell down on the trail or something, going down that steep section, and I was like, oh shit, and then there's other bikes on it too. I was like, oh man, this is hard, definitely harder than it was last time. Last time I didn't run into any traffic going down it, And so I had to like kind of steer my bike to the right of him and then go over this ledge or something. And yeah, so I managed to get around them. I was like, oh, that was significantly more difficult last time as I had to go around this guy. But then I made it to the bottom, all right, and then I can't remember if I had any other crashes on the second lap. I don't think so. I'm not sure. On the first and second lap, my body was still still pretty fresh. Okay, guys, the bike is running great. All right, and then I think when we get towards the end of the second lap, I'm starting to get tired. Okay, guys, I'm getting the arm pump. My legs are starting to hurt. Okay, guys, we're having to stand a lot. All right, I'm having to use the steg pegs a lot. So the steg pegs, you use your legs to do most of the work, right? To hold you in place and all that stuff. However, it chips away at your legs, man. Your legs get tired, all right? So remember that. Okay. So we make it back on the second lap. So I'm as we're getting close to the town, I'm looking at the power, and I'm like, man, we're like at like 30% now, man. The charge just went down a whole lot. So I'm like, you know what? The deal was, if it were at 40%, we would go out for a third lap, and we were like at 30% when we got to the top. We're at 30%, and I was like, no, I don't think we're not gonna go out for a third lap. So I pit in, okay, guys. So after the second lap, I pit in. My second lap was pretty fast. Let me show you what time it is. My second lap. Oh, you know what? Yeah. My second lap was longer than my first lap. I guess I was more tired on the second lap. What can I say, all right? So yeah. Anyway, we pit in. I go to the pits. The pits is like reverse of what it's normally. Everything is reversed than what it normally is, all right? But I know where our pits are. We go to the pit, and then I'm surprised, like, hey, in our pit area, they're working on this bike there. I'm like, what the hell, man? There's no room for me to work on my bike. Like, So I have to park outside of our pit, like right outside of our pit to change the battery, okay, guys? And I'm just like, what the hell's going on here, man? They're working. I think they were fixing the flat tire on some guy's bike, and they had to take up the whole pit to do it. And like, so like in our pit, the people that were racing, all right, the guys that I was hanging out with, all right, in our pits, from like Ted's crew, there was about 6 of us. All right, there was about 6 of us, and I was just like, man, well, if all of us go back at the same time, it's not going to be good. There's going to be like too many bikes everywhere, and there was just this one bike, and there was like 6, 7 people around it and stuff, right? And then so I got to park the bike on the side, and they're telling me, hey, you got to park it as close to your pit as possible because we need this way open. I was like, but I have to work on my bike right here. So anyway, I take one of my gloves off. I take the strap, one of the straps off and the other strap, because I can't unstrap it. I can't unstrap the Velcro strap with a glove on. It's too thick. Okay, guys. So, but I know I have to wear my gloves when I take the battery out, because when I pull these connectors, there's this bolt sticking out here. Well, you know what I might do is I might just cut this bolt. I might cut this bolt or put like a rubber plug around it or something. So when I pull the connector out, like my hand doesn't hit it, and it cuts my hand. All right, that's the drawback to that. Or you know what I could do is just flip the bolt around so it's the other way. I could do that. So maybe we could do that. All right. Anyway, so that's a scoop there. I had to put the glove back on. I pulled the battery out, and then there's this hell of people in the pits. I'm like, hey, excuse me, I'm trying to get over here. I'm trying to get to my batteries, and then so I put the battery I used down on the right side, so I know that one is used, and then I grab the other 50XG pack, right, the one that's in the bike right now. Okay, I move the connectors out of the way. I shove it in there, and then a guy from the other pit, the pit across, he was helping me change the battery. Right? So I slide it in, and I just tell him, oh, could you hand me that strap over there, the front strap? And so he hands it to me. That's the hardest part, all right? Figuring out what strap is what, and getting it over the battery, all right, guys? And so with the helper, it's much easier, okay, guys? So he helped me out. Thanks, bro. All right, thanks, pit bro, but pit neighbor. They helped me out. All right. That's the hardest thing, is trying to figure out where the strap is. It still takes me about 2 minutes to do it. All right, but we get it around there. You remember, this one has 2 connectors on it, so I connect the 2 connectors in there. Right, and then boom, the bike is ready to go. I make sure it's nice and tight. It looks good. All right, guys. So, and then so after that, I was like, you know what? We're already in the pits. You might as well go drink something. So I asked for a water, and I chugged the water as much as I can. All right, I think I drank like 3/4 of the water bottle, and then and then I head on out. All right, guys. And then yeah. So I think that pit took. I have it on video, guys. I think that pit took like. Pit took like 4 or 5 minutes, so it added 4 or 5 minutes to my time. All right, but it was good. All right, after 2 laps, you go in. I'm like tired, you know, and so I gotta swap the battery and then take a quick break and all that stuff. Drink some water and then head off. Okay, guys. So you feel more refreshed. All right. I'm not gonna lie. On the 3rd lap was like, it was probably my best lap. The 3rd lap. No, well that's. It can't be because of that. I feel like my 3rd lap might have been my best lap because that's why I think I kind of knew the trail better, and yeah, I knew the trail better is what I'm gonna say. But anyway, we had a full charge, so I had to be careful going down the hill because I got no regen again. All right, because it's a full charge. We have to use the front and rear brake when we get to the bottom, so I don't try not to go as fast this time. And then we head on. And we go back to the landmine hill, guys. All right, guys. So this is my 3rd time going up there, and it's just as worse. Okay, guys. I go up there, and then once I get to the rock section, I get stuck. Okay, and I get stuck with this guy he was riding a CRF 450X. Okay, guys, and he was wearing leathers. Okay, guys. I guess it's okay if you're wearing leathers. It's cold weather, keep you warm. All right, but anyway, yeah, I'm not lying. Like, he was wearing a 1-piece leather racing suit, okay, guys? Like, for, like, a road race suit? Yeah. Okay, I can only imagine, dude. But anyway, it makes me wonder. I wonder what that guy got. So, yeah. Anyway, I was stuck there with him, and I think he took off, and then I took off a little bit, and then I saw him, he, like, got stuck somewhere else. Oh, I saw Ted. Yeah, I think on the 3rd lap I saw. Did I see Ted on the 3rd lap? I think I saw Ted on the 3rd lap. I saw Ted on the hill, and I said, "Hey, Ted, what's going on?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm stuck on the hill." Like, I said, "Oh man, this hill sucks, man." That's what I told him, man. And then, so I'm just like, I see you, Ted. Good luck. I just kept on going. All right. And then so I found out that if you go on the 3rd section, if you go left, there's this kind of like a single track that's smooth. All right, there's like no rocks, and you go up that way around the tree, and it's clean. All right, guys, and it takes you up to the other single track section that's kind of rocky, and you have to kind of pick your way through it a little bit, and then you go up to the top of the hill, and then it flattens out, and then you go down again. Okay, guys, so there's that. Okay, I think on the 3rd lap. I'm not sure. On the 3rd lap, I don't think I saw the WR250E on the 3rd lap, but I saw the 875 bike. All right, I thought we were racing against her. It was a bike with the flowers on it and stuff. All right. I didn't know that was a Diva bike, man. I thought it was one of the bikes I was racing against, and I was following her, man. I was like, oh shit, this is one of the bikes we're supposed to be racing against, 875. And so like I'm trying to keep up with her. I think she passed me. And I was like, oh shit, we're racing against that bike, hurry up, brother. So like, I'm trying to chase this bike, chase one of these Diva bikes, man, because I think we're racing against it. And then I was stuck with her for a while. No, I think she left me for after a while. She just took off. I was like, oh shit, I'm tired, dude. This is the 3rd lap, and I'm like, I don't want to race. I don't want to race anymore. Like 2 laps, that would have been enough for me, man. But I was like, no, you got to keep on going, man. And so I looked at the time, and we were like, I don't know, we're just under 2 hours on the 3rd lap, right? That's what I remember. And then I think we were over 2 hours at the end of the 3rd lap, all right? But anyway, I was trying to race this girl on the 875 bike. She left me after a while, and then I caught up to her. All right, she must have taken a break or something or slowed down. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm hurting real bad. Okay, guys, my left thigh, all right, right here, is starting to hurt a lot. Okay, I'm getting tendonitis. All right, basically my muscles getting sore. All right, okay, like. What was it? Oh yeah, there was a Supermoto race where like I was like, oh dude, my thighs are hurting, all right? And I told myself, you gotta start doing squats, Marlon. You need to make your thighs stronger, right? And like I did it for a while, and then I just like kind of because I hurt my neck, all right. So before this race, I also I hurt my neck during the Built Roll race, and I was hurting real bad after that race, and I had to go to the hospital. Okay, guys, so it would hurt that bad, all right, guys. So I was kind of racing after like a neck injury, okay, guys, and then yeah, but well, like I'm getting arm pump, all right. I can't. It's getting hard for me to hold on to the handlebars, and then it's getting hard for my legs to grip the bike, even with the steg pegs. I'm like shit, like my whole. I can feel it, like my whole body is like that's almost it, man. And then yeah, so then I think the 8.7 bike is following this other girl. She was like on a mini bike. She was like on a small bike or something, and she was going slow. And we were riding through the silty single track, and there's like some rocks and stuff. And we got stuck behind them for a while, man. We're just like, it was just like a train, man. And I was like, dude, you gotta pass these guys. And I think at some point she must have got tired or something, and then I passed her, and then I was behind the slow bike that was in the front of us, all right. And I was like, shit, you gotta pass this person. She's like, it's kicking up dust everywhere and everything. And then when it opens up, I go out and around and pass her. Then I get passed by all the other guys that are behind us. I was like, shit, dude, this sucks, man. I hate getting past it because you get dusted all the time, all right? It's awful, man. And you gotta kind of make way for them, you know? I mean, you don't have to, man, but it's that's the right thing to do, all right? But anyway, so that's the scoop, guys. And I think on the third lap, I crashed pretty bad. I had like a lot of I was getting tired. I was getting tired and sloppy, and I was sitting down too much, you know? I felt like I was getting lazy, you know? And whenever I'd hit a rock or something, the bike would get all bent out of shape and all that. It would happen more often, right? Because I'm not standing, right? And I'm getting lazy and I'm getting tired and all that stuff. And yeah, I think I went down a couple times on the third lap, and then I went down really bad. We were going down this steep hill, man. There's so many of these steep hills, and the steep hill wouldn't be so bad if there weren't so many rocks. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the rocks can help you slow down, but yeah, the rocks could fuck you up pretty bad, all right? And so at the bottom of this hill, there's these boulders, all right? They're not baby heads, guys. They're big. They're like probably like basketball-sized rocks and stuff. And there was like a vintage bike. It was crashed on the bottom, and then there's some people like on the left and the right and all that stuff. And then there's people telling you slow down. There's a guy crashed here, and then and like just like in the middle of the trail, right? so like I'm trying to slow down, and then I guess the front. I lost the front on the rock or something. I went off into a big pile of rocks, and I went down pretty hard, man. And the bike was like, it was kind of like on top of me, but unfortunately, since the rocks were there, it kept the bikes off. I kept the bike off of me. All right, I was able to pick the bike up. Somebody was there to help me pick it up, man. But it was a pretty bad fall. I was like, yeah, and I fell down, and I was like, shit, I kind of don't want to get up. So I'll take a nap right here. But I was like, no, we gotta get up. so I get the bike up. And then like I'm blocking the whole way, man. I see like there's these other 2-3 bikes coming down the hill. Like shit, man. Now I'm making a roadblock. So I get up and I get myself like all. I was like, okay, I'm all right, man. It was a pretty bad fall, but like somehow I didn't get hurt because I landed on the rocks, guys. Okay, the bike landed on the rocks. Nothing broke. I think I scratched this right here, pretty bad. Yeah, there's a scratch here on this fork guard. But everything looks okay still, right? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I remember it fell down on the left side, and I was like under it and everything, and like there was rocks, there was like boulders all around me. Like, oh, I was like, oh shit. It's a good thing I was wearing all my gear. So I wear like a padded shorts, all right? I call them combat briefs, and I wear the knee and shin armor and my boots and all that stuff. All that stuff protected me. I didn't feel hurt at all. Okay, so that's a good thing. All right, guys. So I eventually I get up and I take a quick break, and then I take off. All right, and then yeah, I think that was the worst. That was kind of my worst fall out of it. You know, I ate that rock sandwich pretty hard, man. Yeah, so that's why you should wear all the gear all the time. All right, guys. Anyway. Yeah, dude, there was just a lot of downhills with rocky downhills, and that's just you gotta you gotta try to stay off of them or go on top of them. I don't know, man. This bike just doesn't like rocks, man. I need to get a steering dampener for it ASAP. Okay, guys. Anyway, so that and then we finished the third lap. Okay, I guess. And I think we still had. I know we had definitely enough power to do a fourth lap, okay, without doing a battery swap. So I go back around, and we take off. I'm not sure. I think I saw. Oh, the 875 bike. For some reason I think the 875 bike I thought it was ahead of us, and then when I was leaving, I saw the S7 bike coming up the hill, and I already passed her like a long time ago or something. So yeah, there was that, or maybe that was the second lap. I'm not sure, man. I'm getting things mixed up. But anyway, so we're going up for the fourth lap, and I think it's going to be the final lap. I think it's like we're at like a little more than 2 hours, okay, guys, on the third lap, and I'm like, well, shit, dude, if it's taking us an hour to finish these laps, we're gonna run out of time on the next lap. So I'm thinking, okay. We're going to do a fourth lap. We're definitely going to do a fourth lap, but then I don't know if we're going to do a fifth lap. Fifth lap, we're kind of up in the air. If I do have to do a fifth lap, we got to pit in, though. Okay, so that's a scoop on the fourth lap, all right, guys? And so we go down the hill. All right, I can go as fast as I want, all right, because I got half a charge, all right, guys? So I go as fast as I want, and I regen at the bottom, and then we make the left, and then we go out onto the landmine hill again, all right, guys? And then so this was my best run up the hill, all right? So I redeemed myself this time, all right? This one wasn't so bad, all right? So I make it up the first section that isn't very rocky, and then the next section I make it up it, and then I saw Ted again. I think I got stuck maybe like halfway or something. I saw Ted again. He said like, oh, my bike doesn't start or something. I saw Ted on the hill again. I don't know if Ted spent that whole time on the hill or something because like I saw him in the same spot again pretty much, and then he told me like to go left, and I was, oh yeah I know, I went left. So yeah, I knew where to go left, and I went around, and by the fourth lap I had a pretty good run through that. Okay, guys, I had a pretty good run. I'm not gonna lie though, I am hella tired. All right, guys. I think so. We're starting to go down the hill, and I'm like, dude, my left leg, it won't move anymore. Okay, guys, it is so sore that like yeah, I've got to do this number. I have to stop the bike, and I have to stretch my thigh like this because it's super sore. All right, and then so eventually like I try to relax as much as I can. I try not to grip the bars too hard. I'm trying to sit down as much as I can to save my energy and all that stuff, and it works. Okay, guys, the leg's not hurting as much. All right, so I'm able to ride again. But man, I'm telling you, on that fourth lap, I was dying. Okay, I was taking my sweet time as much. I was trying to conserve as much of my energy as possible. The bike was doing great, but not me. Okay, guys, that's the scoop there, right? Also, the bike is getting louder. Okay, guys, I know that when the chain gets loose on this thing. So I guess the chain is stretching, that or the motor mount is moving. I hope it's not the motor mount, man, but it's not quite touching the swing arm yet, man. So yeah, I'm like super tired on the fourth lap, and I think, but I knew it's like, oh, you know what? This is probably, well, I was taking breaks for about half the fourth lap. I took a lot of breaks, man. I just stopped, and I was like, catch my breath, stretch my arms, and stretch my legs, you know. And then we would keep on going, and I would go at like a snail's pace, man. I'm not trying to go as fast as I can, all right? And then I see the DR650 again, all right? So the DR650 passes me like I think halfway through the fourth lap. I'm like, oh shit, man! Like there goes that DR650 again. I hadn't seen him for a while, but here he is again. Like dadgummit. I was like, well, I think we're gonna lose against the DR650, But yeah, so I tried to follow him for a while, and then he takes off. I was like, oh shit, man, I can't keep up with the DR650, man. And then yeah, but then that gives me the push to like, all right, let's hurry up, man. so I speed up a little bit when I see the DR650. I try to follow him, but I can't. All right, and I think I think the fourth lap was pretty clean, is what I'm gonna say. I don't think I crashed all that much on the fourth lap. At least I don't think I did. And then yeah. So that's a scoop there. I think on the fourth lap I tried to turn my camera on. Yeah, so I swapped the cameras out, the ion cameras, when I was in the pits, because the first camera ran out on the second lap. All right, and then so yeah. On the second lap it ran out. All right, that was because it was like more than an hour. So I turned the GoPro on at the end of the second lap. All right, after we finished 2 laps, and then so I swapped the camera. So I already knew the camera was dead, so I swapped the camera. All right, because I have the camera in my pocket. All right, and then what is it? And then so I turned it on. I think I turned it on at the end of the third lap or something, just in case my GoPro died. So because I switched from the helmet camera to my GoPro, the chest camera, all right, the bra camera, that's what I call it. And yeah, and then so I remember I turned it on after the third lap or something. So in the fourth lap, and then it turns out the camera doesn't even work. I think I fiddled around with it on the fourth lap, and I was like, it's not recording. I'm like, that's weird. So every once in a while, yeah, the camera, the ion camera, all right, the one on my helmet, it'll crash, okay, guys, and then it won't record anything, and that's what happened to it. It got stuck somehow, all right. So that's a scoop on that with the cameras. But the good thing is the GoPro got pretty much all the fourth lap, all right. It got like 90% of the fourth lap, all right. Pretty much when I was heading back to the finish line, that was it, okay, guys. And then I got like a 1 hour and 44 minutes of footage is what it got. Okay, so that's a scoop there. Where HadesOmega's doing okay. All right, I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm still tired, but I know we're pretty close to finishing. And then yeah, we take that last hard route back, and I didn't have any problems. And then I just yeah. So on the third lap, I remember there was people in the chicken coop. All right, so yeah. So I'm looking at my the moving time on my GPS, and it's already like past 3 hours. I'm like, well, you know what? And it's already past 1,300 hours. All right, so I'm like, I don't think we're gonna do a fourth lap. All right, but so they have your times adjusted. All right, guys, your times are adjusted. So like since we took off in the back. So here's the kicker, guys. All right, so if we start at 10 o'clock and the race ends at 1, right, that's 3 hours. However, if you were in the back and it took longer for you to start, like your start time was later than everybody else's, then you might not have 3 you might not have 3 hours when the 3 hours is up. Okay, guys, that's what I'm saying. So if you ever watch the end of the Virginia City Grand Prix when everybody crosses the finish line, and then so there's a lady usually it's a lady. There's a lady looking in a book, and I think the book has the start times for all the bikes, all right, by number and all that stuff, all right. So they know exactly when you took off, all right, guys. So if you took off, so if you started later, then your finish time is later, okay, guys. So let's say you started at 10:30, then your finish time is at 1:30, right? So there was that going on, all right. So I'm just thinking the little hamster wheel in my head is going. I'm like, the closer we get to Virginia City for the fourth lap, I'm thinking like, I'm not gonna lie, I was planning to just keep on racing and racing and racing. I have like plenty of batteries, so I can keep on going. We've only used 2 of the freaking 5 batteries that we have, okay, guys. So we can definitely keep on racing, right? We could race the full race, the 4-hour race, if we wanted to, man. Apparently, with 5 batteries. So yeah. But anyway. On the fourth lap, I was dead, okay, guys? I'm telling you, that is it. I can't race anymore. Like, I'm super freaking tired. I don't think I can handle one more lap, all right? But I'm thinking, like, I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, it's like 3 hours and something minutes, like 3 hours and 7 minutes when we're getting close to the finish line, and I'm like, when I came in to finish my third lap, I saw people chicken cooping. So I was like, there's a chicken coop. Right, when you go around that corner and there's that little whoop section, and then it's just a straight road that goes to the asphalt. There's a chicken coop right there. Right, there's a little sign that says chicken coop, and there must have been 10 bikes there at the chicken coop. I was like, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, what are all these bikes here? I'm like, oh, this is chicken coop. I'm like, oh, it's a chicken coop. I was like, is it that time already? I was like, freaking, and so you guys don't know what a chicken coop is, all right, guys? A chicken coop is it's for chickens, all right, guys. They're those guys that they come back. It's almost the end of the race, and they don't wanna go out and do another lap. They want to finish their race, okay, guys? Because if you don't finish, you won't get a finisher pin, all right? Or, for whatever reason, they don't want to do another lap, all right? They're too tired. They're too broken. You know, their bike is broken. That kind of stuff, okay, guys? So you wait in the chicken coop until the finish time, the race time expires, all right? And then you go to the finish line, all right, guys? And then so that's why they call it a chicken coop, because you're chickening out, all right, guys? So there was that option, okay, guys, to hang out in the chicken coop. I'm not gonna lie, I did that. Or so okay. Here's so since we're talking about the chicken coop, here's my plan for the chicken coop, all right? So last year I did 7 laps, and I don't think I had enough power to do any more. Okay, guys? I did 7 laps, and so I had to chicken coop it before the end of the race. My plan was to chicken coop it and then finish the race, right? Because if I went up there and I didn't finish the race and I didn't have enough I didn't have enough batteries to do another lap, then I wouldn't finish, all right? I wouldn't finish, and you won't get a finisher pin. So that's what you don't want, all right? You want to finish, all right? So it's a game of strategy, all right? When you can come in, all right? Type of thing, all right? For the first thing, all right? So I'm not gonna lie, I kind of took the 4th lap slower. So I'm not gonna lie, I kind of chickened out on the 4th lap, all right, guys? I took my sweet time on the 4th lap because I was just like, shit, man, I'm hella tired. I took a lot of rest breaks and all that stuff. I kind of knew, like, man, this is it. I've reached the limits of my stamina type of thing, okay? I'm not gonna lie, the course was way harder than it was last year, okay, guys? It was definitely more punishing than it was last year because I was able to do 7 laps last year, okay, guys? So, and I've only done 4 laps, all right? I'm on the 4th lap, okay, guys? So anyway, so my plan was to, if it was like last year and I could do 2 laps per battery, it's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, all right? So if I can do 10 laps, then I won't have to chicken coop. I just keep on well, no, okay. Theoretically, all right, guys, if we did 10 laps, all right, I wouldn't have any more batteries to swap into the bike. That's as far as we can go, okay, guys? And so your strategy would be to chicken coop it on the 10th lap, okay, guys? Because we've used up all the batteries we could use up. There's no more juice for the bike, and if there's still time, is there still time before the end of the race? It's still before 1 o'clock, definitely. If it's before 1 o'clock, then you want to chicken coop it, all right? So you can finish, all right? Kind of sucks because if there's still people out there racing, you're gonna lose to them, okay, guys? But you don't have a choice because your bike can't go anymore. It's done, all right? Maybe you can keep on going, but the bike can't keep on going, all right, guys? That's what I'm getting at, all right, guys? So anyway, but I had plenty, so I still have plenty of batteries. It's literally 3 hours. I've only used 2 batteries. I'm like, shit, man. I got 3 batteries that are fully charged. We could still keep on going, but like we ran out of time. So on the 4th lap, when I passed by the chicken coop, everybody's gone. There's no more chicken coopers. They already went to the finish line, all right, to finish their race. So I get up there. It's just a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it might have been. Let me see what time. I took a picture of when we got back. Okay, it was. So the total time that had been gone is 3 hours and 24 minutes. All right. So that definitely tells me when I reset the GPS, that tells me we went over like 20 minutes, something like that, okay? It says I had a moving time of 3 hours and 9 minutes, all right? So when I came back to the finish line at the end of the 4th lap, that was it. That was the end of the race, okay, guys? So I can't go back out for a 5th one. So when I passed the chicken coop, I was just like, all right, well, there's nobody in the chicken coop, but remember we started at the back of the pack. Your finish time is later, okay? So there's a chance, all right, if you don't chicken coop at HadesOmega, you're not going to you're not gonna you might have to go out for a 5th lap. So anyway, I was looking at the chicken coop and I was like, all right, just fuck it, just go, man. so I rip it, all right, guys. Yeah, look, because remember I told you I was kind of ripping it on after I saw the WR250. I went a little bit faster at the end of the lap, and I just got faster and faster as we got to Virginia City, because like I was thinking like, hey, well maybe the race is gonna be over because it's over 3 hours already according to my GPS. So. But there's that chance that like, yeah, man, you remember like we started at 1 something, all right? So, but I think, what time was it when we came back? Damn. We came back around 1:30. So I think we just made it back. I think we made it back 10 or 20 minutes before before we could go out and do a 5th lap, all right? So if you come back before 3 hours, you got to go out and do another lap. So I was like, all right, well, I was like, fuck it, that's fine. Just keep on going. Don't worry about it, Merlin. If we have to do a 5th lap, we'll do a 5th lap, all right, guys? So I was like, I was ready for it, right? I'll do a 5th lap if I have to. So like I'm going up the asphalt. I'm pinning it to win it, all right, guys? I got it wide open. We're going like 50, 60 miles an hour going up this hill. The bike is giving me all it's got. I'm looking at the battery meter. And it's at 0% charge when I'm twisting it all the way. I was like, oh shit, man! Like, so the voltage sag is enough to pull the power back to like the minimum voltage. Okay, guys. So like we're pulling so much power from the battery, it's sagging so much, it's almost at the minimum voltage. All right, guys. So what the controller is doing is trying to pull the power back. It's trying to prevent you from draining the battery too much. All right, so. So the bike actually did go up a little bit slower, all right? So I think we finished with like 20-something%. Let me see. Okay, so that battery thing says 29%, all right? We finished with 29%, all right? So yeah, we were ripping up the hill with like about 30% charge. And yeah, it was just drinking the voltage sag was just drinking. It was drinking voltage, guys. And I could see it. It was like at 0%. I was like, oh shit, we're hitting low voltage cutoff, man. So I was like, whatever, just hold it open, man. We're almost at the top. Just get up there as fast as you can and finish. All right, so boom, we finish. All right, we go up to the top, and I see a checkered flag, and then the lady that tells you if you're yay or nay, she says yeah, you're done. So she says like, you're done with your race, and I was like, oh, okay, well too bad. I guess we're not going to go out and do a 5th lap. So I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was prepared to do a 5th lap, but I was like, I wanted to finish on the 4th lap. I was like, I already had it on like the 3rd lap. All right, guys. So like, yeah, I was done, man. I didn't want to go anymore. All right, the bike could still go, but man, that was it for me. So that's it. All right. So HadesOmega finished the race with 4 laps. All right, and I got the finisher pin right here. Okay, guys. It's definitely definitely cause for celebration every time you finish the Virginia City Grand Prix, guys. Okay, guys? I'm not going to lie. This is like the hardest race that I do the whole year, okay, guys? It is like one of the hardest. Like, I told myself, I think I got interviewed I did the interview for the first race I did, and I said, like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, okay? I'm not going to lie. The Virginia City Grand Prix is no joke. And the 2026 Virginia City Grand Prix was no joke, okay, guys? It was 100% harder than last year, okay, guys? I guarantee it. It was harder than last year. Last year was easy, okay? Even though it was snowing and all, the conditions weren't as good last year, the course was easier than this year's course, okay, guys? And that proves it, that I only did 4 laps. I did almost twice as many laps last year, okay? So that tells you the difficulty, okay? It took a lot longer to do 1 lap than it did last year, okay? Yeah, no way, all right? So we only went through like 2 batteries, man. That's kind of nuts, man. So these 3 batteries are fully charged. I got to find some way to discharge them. I'm probably just going to put the street wheels on the DR. I just put the street wheels on the WR and go ride it around town or something. Okay, guys? But anyway, that's the finisher pin. Check it out. Okay, it's a sweet one this year. I like this one. I like it's like a gunmetal color. It's just got the usual Virginia City on it. Okay, that was a hard work to earn that pin, all right? If you can if you can get one of these pins, you accomplish something special. I'm not gonna lie, okay, guys. You finish one of the hardest races that I know of. All right, guys. I know there's probably harder races out there, man, like extreme enduros, but yeah, dude. Okay, so here's some stats after I finished the race. All right, guys. So there's the finisher pin right here, and I didn't know how I did. I'm not sure. I was racing the 875 bike, and I didn't know we weren't racing against it, okay? I don't know why they messed the numbers up. Why did they give her a 875 plate when the dual sports are 87 somethings, okay? She should have been a diva, and she should have been an 820 or 830 something, okay? So some reason I thought we were racing her. All right, it turns out that 875 bike, that's the only bike I saw out there, guys. The 875 bike. But she was a diva, all right? So there's an 876 bike, that only did 2 laps, all right? And there's an 875 bike, and that only did 3 laps, okay, guys? All right, she got like 4th place, though. That's not bad. All right, yeah, so later we're going to play fantasy motorcycle racing, okay, guys? But anyway, yeah, man. So I thought the 875 bike had beat us because she passed us that 1 lap, and then the weird thing is, like, as I was going out for the next lap, I saw her come in. I was like, that's weird. I don't remember passing her. So we passed her at some point, all right? Well, it turns out we lapped that bike, all right? So at some point we had lapped that bike, and then she passed me, and I was like, oh shit, we're racing against this bike, and it made me want to hurry up, all right? And then I found out after the race, I found out today, okay? I didn't find, not after the race, I found out today that we weren't racing against that bike. So I was like, whenever I see a bike that we're racing against, like, it's so one of the things about this race, guys, that's different than the races that we did previous years is that we were racing against electric bikes only, okay, guys? So it's pretty easy to tell which of the bikes are electric and which of bikes are gas, all right? HadesOmega knows pretty well, all right? One, they don't make a lot of noise, and they look like electric bike, like a Sauron or something, okay, guys? Or a Varg. A Varg is pretty, you know, it's pretty distinct compared to other bikes, okay? Mine is probably the most unique one because it looks like a gas bike, all right, guys? So, all right, I just want to say. But it doesn't make any noise. So so I'm not going to lie. A lot of people asked me a lot of questions about this bike, right? They wanted to know about it. And there's a lot of people surprised that this thing was electric during the race. They're like, so I'm like stuck in the rock section or something, of the steep rock hill section, and people are trying to help you and everything. It's like, and they're like, oh, that guy's bike isn't electric. He can easily just get up this without stalling. Yeah, so that's the beauty of it, right? So yeah, so that it's pretty unique bike out of all the bikes in the race. So I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't the only one racing an electric bike out there. All right, I saw a Sauron light be out there. Okay, I think on the 3rd lap I saw a Sauron racing on the trail. All right. I was like, oh shit, there's a Sauron. I'm riding along it. I'm getting ready to pass it. All right, it's like I'm like you could definitely tell it's a Sauron because it's just this teeny tiny little bike on the trail, not making a lot of noise. And then when I passed it, I confirmed it. I was like, oh that's a Sauron. So I passed it. I'm like, hey, it's a Sauron, and I just passed it. All right, and then on the 4th lap, I think I saw the Sauron again at the end of the 4th lap. I saw them pushing their bike. I was like, oh, that sucks, man. Yeah, so that Sauron ran out of charge. I don't know what class they were racing in. That's a good question. Oh, you know what? I think I saw that bike on the way home when I was driving home from Virginia City. I saw it like in California, like on the 80 somewhere, okay, guys? So it was on the back of somebody's pickup truck, all right? But anyway, so that's a scoop, guys. We finished, all right, guys? This is the first time, I guess, an electric bike has raced in the dual sport class, all right, and I think we did pretty good. So, but here's some stats before I go to the awards ceremony. Okay, guys. So we rode a total of 46.3 miles. Okay, so each lap was 11.5 miles. So I know it's kind of some weird math. All right, guys. So I know the second lap is 22. It's 22 plus half a mile plus half a mile, which is 1 mile. That's 23 miles, all right? So I know math is hard to do when you're tired, okay, guys? That's how I knew on the third lap when we're getting close to 23 that we're a thing, all right? So 11 is not too hard, all right? It's 11, 22, 33, and 44, all right? So like on the fourth lap, it's 44, and then 0.5, all right, 1/2 times 4, all right? That's 2 miles. So 44 plus 2 miles is 46, all right? Exactly. There you go. The math is right. 46.3 miles. Okay, guys. So it may have been a little bit more than 11.5 miles. All right, maybe just a teeny bit, and so the 4 laps made it 46.3. So my math is right. Haha. See. Okay, it says we hit a max of 61.9 miles per hour. Yeehaw, man! We're fucking hauling ass out there, man. 61.9, dude, going down, and I'm not gonna lie, it's probably in the asphalt sections that we hit those speeds. Okay, we had a moving average of 14.6 miles per hour. That sounds about right. That sounds about how fast we were going on the trails. We weren't going very fast, guys. We had a moving time of 3 hours and 9 minutes, and a total time of 3 hours and 24 minutes. All right, that's when I reset the timer before we got to the start line. Okay, guys. So yeah, I think I got lucky that I was able to do a 4th lap. I'm not sure. That's a good question. But we came back 3 hours 9 minutes. So and that's moving time. All right. The total expired time was 3:24. So there's no way we would have if HadesOmega, if we went twice as fast, we might have been able to do 5 laps. Okay. If we went twice as fast during one of the laps. All right. That's what I want to say. Okay. So, but anyway, we finished with 4 laps. We got the finisher pin. I just went over the stats. Here's some stats for the EBMX, okay, that came from the controller. We were at 68.7 volts, all right. That's around the bike said 29%, okay, guys. So if we had to go out for a 5th lap, I would definitely pit in, okay, guys. That was the idea. If they were gonna make me go out and do a 5th lap, I was gonna pit in, swap the battery, and then go out and do the 5th lap, and then just do it really slow, okay? Because I'm just like I'm hella tired already. The motor was 115 degrees when we came in, all right, and the controller was 84.5. The trip meter says 22 miles, all right, so that sounds about right, because each lap was 11.5 miles, so it should be 23 miles actually, so it's off a little bit, and it says, so the time I had the second battery on was hour and 33 minutes. Okay, that's something interesting. My average speed was 14 miles per hour. My max speed was 59 miles an hour. So maybe we went fast. Well, the GPS is more accurate, guys. I would go over. I would go off of the GPS's speed. Average power was 2 kilowatts. Max power was 23 kilowatts. All right, probably when we're going up the hill, we're hitting 23 kilowatts. Average phase amps, 76 amps. Max phase amps, 712 amps. Average battery amps, 28 amps. Max battery amps, 341 amps. Okay, so that's a lot of power. Okay, but these batteries can handle 600 amps, guys. So, yeah. Okay, go figure. We definitely, the racing that we did just wasn't enough to, like, even phase the batteries, man. Average motor temp was 140. My max motor temp was 166. All right, average controller temp 92, max controller temp 102. Okay, guys, so the bike didn't get hot at all, and it was pretty cool out. I'm not gonna lie, it was probably, I know it was 30s, but I think it did warm up by the end of the race. Okay, guys, it probably went up like 10 degrees. It was probably 40 or 50s by the end. All right. The forecast said it was going to be 37 high, okay, guys? So I think around 40 sounds about right. So okay, and then yeah, that's it, man. So I got the finisher pin, but so there was 5 bikes in this race, guys. Okay, 5 bikes, and then so I found out that we'll go over all the results, but I got, well, bam! I got this guy. All right, guys. There it is. All right. 2nd place, all right? So, yeah, remember I said the DR650 passed us? Yeah, he got the 1st place, okay, guys? All right, so it's kind of frustrating to get beaten by a DR650 because I have one, and I know that thing is like a pig in the dirt, all right, guys? But all I can say is hats off to him, man. he rode the piss out of that DR6. He showed me what a DR650 can do, okay, guys? So, I know. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I know if you set up a DR650 right, it's pretty good in the dirt, okay, guys? It's not bad at all right? But the problem with the DR650 is doesn't have a lot of ground clearance. It's got 10 inches of travel, which is okay, all right? It's not like a dirt bike. It's not like this bike. This bike has got better suspension than it, all right? The biggest thing holding a DR650 back in the dirt is the suspension, okay, guys? The suspension is too soft. The shock is garbage, okay, guys? And the forks can be okay, I guess. All right, but what he told me, I talked to him when we talked to him at the award ceremony, and he told me that he had an RMZ 450 front forks on the bike, and he had a KTM shock. He had a bike from a KTM EXE or something for the rear. Okay, so he had upgraded the suspension, and that's what I would do if you were going to do a lot of serious dirt riding on a DR. He said other than that, it was pretty much stock. So I was like, holy shit, man! Like even the jetting, man. I would think 6,000 feet, is that enough to not have enough power on a DR650? Not really. I'm not gonna lie. I've ridden the DR650 up to 6,000 feet, and that's when I start to feel like, oh, it's feeling a little low on power, right? Yeah, the 650 it's got some decent amount of torque. It's great for climbing hills because you got all that torque, all right? And you can just chug it. So he's probably just cruising on the trails, man. What can I say, okay? But anyway, this is the trophy, guys. I got second place, all right? So his name was Sam. He was racing the DR650. He had 5 laps, okay, guys? So when he passed me that last time on the third lap or something, I think he had already lapped me, okay, guys? So when I came back after the 4th lap, he was probably still doing the 5th lap, all right? So I didn't even see him after the race, okay, guys? Because he was still out racing, okay, guys? So there's that, okay, guys? So he lapped us, okay? I got lapped by a DR650. He did 5 laps. I did 4 laps, and then there was another guy on the KTM bike, and he got, I think he got the 3rd place, okay, guys? So good job, buddy. And then I think the Hondas got like the 4th and the 5th place. We will go over the results in the next part of the video, okay, guys? But anyway, this is the trophy, guys. Check it out. Okay, so what it is, you know how you know what panning for gold is, right? When you get a bunch of rocks in the river and then you take all the sand out and stuff, and you look at it and you look for gold. All right, that's what this is for, I think, okay? It could be a candy dish. I don't know, guys. But anyway, this is what it is. All right, I think this is similar to what the dishes, what you use when you pan for gold, okay, guys? So that's what this is. If you guys don't know, Virginia City is a mining town, all right? It's a historical mining town, and they used to mine gold there, okay, guys, and other stuff, okay? It's a pretty cool place. You should definitely go visit it if you get a chance to, all right? They've got a lot of cool stuff to see just in the town, all right, and the places around it. There's tons of cool stuff to see, so definitely check Virginia City out. You don't necessarily have to go there for the Grand Prix, man, but if you're in the area, I highly recommend you go and check it out, all right? So, yeah, so this is my first trophy that looks like this, okay, guys? That it's a freaking bowl, all right, guys? I might use it as a candy dish or something in the future. I'm not sure. No, I'm just going to put it with my other trophies. So to date, I have 6 Virginia City Grand Prix trophies, all right, guys? I've managed to somehow get a trophy every year. Okay, there's a stand for it too, but I don't have it with me. So I like the finisher pin. The finisher pin looks sweet, man, this year. All right, so I've got 5 of these, all right? I've got 5 finisher pins, and I've got 6 trophies, all right? So the first race I raced, I didn't finish, all right, guys? But I was able to get a trophy because there were many people racing it. Or the first race, everybody couldn't finish it. That was what happened, okay, guys? Yeah, it was so bad, all right? But anyway, yeah, so that's the finisher pin with the trophy, okay, guys? So I got the 2nd place trophy in Dual Sport Novice, okay, 2026. All right, this is the 55th annual Virginia City Grand Prix. Okay, pretty cool. All right, it's got a little stand for it, too. Pretty cool. I hope it doesn't rust or anything, man. Okay, I wonder what it's made out of. That's a good question. Oh, maybe I can put it on the wall with a magnet. I can try. I want to try that. Okay. But anyway, yeah. So I got the finisher pin and the trophy. All I can say is I feel like a winner, guys. All right. We didn't get number 1, so you know what that means. We can race in the novice class again next year. All right. Until I get the number 1 plate, I'm not gonna move up. All right, guys. So if Sam comes back next year, man, come on down, because I'm gonna try to beat you again. Okay, buddy. I'm going for number 1 next year. Okay, guys. So so that's my plan. All right. Next year we'll race with this bike again. All right. And hopefully you'll have a steering dampener by then. I'm gonna work on it. All right, guys. I'm working on it. So yeah, I'm gonna race this bike next year in the Dual Sport Novice class, the same class again. All right. There weren't that many bikes. I'm surprised not many people raced in that race. Why not? That's what I saw last year. I saw last year not many people raced in it, and this year not that many. Only like 5 of us raced, so it's kind of disappointing. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. So there was adventure bikes out there. The adventure bike class was in front of us. There was a Cove 800, man. I saw him pass us on the trails, and he was hauling ass, man. I remember I was on like I was on one of the single track sections. It wasn't like super tight, but I can hear the roar of the freaking V-twin behind me, man. It's just roar, roar. I was like, oh, something's coming up behind us, and it's big. I was like, I think it's an adventure bike coming at us. So I pull off on the side of the single track. I'll go off of the single track and like into the bushes and stuff, and to let him pass. And I could see him. He was just hauling ass, making these big ass dirt clouds behind him. I was like, damn it. Yeah, I was surprised how fast some of those adventure bikes were, man. I'm impressed. All right, to be able to ride a bike that big on those trails is no. I mean, you could totally do it, but it's just like if you drop that bike, it's not good. Okay, guys, if I drop this bike, it's not that bad. It's not that heavy, right? This bike is not. It's like only 200 something pounds, so it's pretty easy to pick up, is what I'm gonna say. Okay, so. HadesOmega had a great weekend. All right. Did you have fun? Yes, I had fun. Did you get hurt? No, I didn't get hurt. All right. I had like a handful of falls. Okay, guys. So, I have a handful of layovers or crashes and falls, and nothing too serious. One of them was pretty bad, but I was surprised I didn't get hurt and the bike didn't get messed up. All right. These handguards definitely got a lot of scars on them. Okay, guys. All right. And then yes, did you break the bike? And no, I didn't break the bike. The chain is kind of noisy right now, so listen to this. I won't get on it too hard though, because the helmet's on there. See, it sounds kind of loud when I let go of the throttle. I think that's because the chain is loose. Okay, guys. So this bike does not like it when the chain is loose. So I'm gonna go tighten up the chain, and then hopefully there's one of two things I'm suspecting. It's either the chain stretched during the race, which it could happen. It's a lot of stress on the powertrain. Okay, guys, or the motor is moving back towards the swing arm and it's getting looser. Okay, guys. So I hope it's not the motor mount, because this motor mount is really freaking strong. Okay, guys, but it seems like it's getting close to the swing arm. I don't think it's bending. It's really it should be really strong, man. The motor mount. I beefed it up a whole lot, but that could be happening. But I will tighten the chain up and it'll get quiet again. Okay, guys. So this bike likes the chain tighter, not looser. Okay, guys. So I like to keep it towards the looser end of the spec. And so before the race, I had actually tightened it. I had tightened it even tighter than the tightest spec for the chain. All right. The spec is 38 millimeters. I think it was like 36 or something when I adjusted it. Okay. And it was a brand new chain. So brand new chain. Can a brand new chain stretch? Yeah, I think initially they stretch a little bit and then they just stop stretching, and then when they wear out, then they start stretching a lot. All right, and that's the kind of like what it was felt like before. Okay, but I don't think I broke it. All right, it definitely got a lot of battle scars. Okay, I feel like that tire before next year I will have a new tire. Okay, guys, for the rear. All right, this front tire still good. Okay. I'll keep it, all right, but the rear tire, I think we're definitely going to go with a new tire next year, okay? I think we're going to go with like a gummy tire, all right? This tire, it did great, okay? I'm not going to lie, their traction was very, very poor out there, okay, guys? It didn't rain at all, so it was all dry and everything. It was at least it was windy, and the wind kind of blew the dust away from you a little bit, all right? But I noticed in the silt, this tire is awful. Okay, guys, like it had a hard time getting around in the silt. It was just kind of just fishtail everywhere. Okay, guys. And in the rocks, the bike doesn't like the rocks at all, man. Once you get into any rocks, the bike just it just gets bent out of shape. It gets all crazy and stuff, right? Just check it out in the video, man. You'll see, dude. The video makes everything look more tame than it is in real life, man. But I'm telling you, every little rock and stuff you hit, this bike doesn't like it, right? And the handlebar gets all crazy and stuff. So I'm definitely, I'm like I think I mentioned it last year. I wanted to get a steering dampener for it, and I still can't find one. All right, so HadesOmega is going to redouble his efforts to get a steering dampener. Okay, I feel the steering dampener is the final icing on the cake for this bike. Right. Other than that, there's really nothing else for me to do to this bike. I kind of wish the suspension was softer because it's still beating me up pretty bad on the rocks. Okay. When I race it in the Biltwell race, I've used the same exact suspension settings for the clickers and everything, and it was excellent. I had no complaints at all. All right, but for this race, I just felt too stiff. I'm like, oh, I'm just getting beat up like really bad. All right, kind of like the Sauron. So maybe next year I might try to go with the softer settings. Okay, so I think that's what I might do. Okay, so this setting is okay for kind of not for smoother trails. All right, but I think for rougher trails, I'm going to want to try to soften up more. Okay, so I might try to soften up the suspension more. I have the softer springs in it this year. I hope they were helping. All right, I think they did. All right, but I think we just need to go softer on the clickers, and that might help. Okay, guys. We could also go down on tire pressure. So from what I hear, they tell you not to go lower than 15 psi at Virginia City because you could get a pinch flat. Okay, HadesOmega has never gotten a flat at Virginia City, so I must be doing something right. So I'm probably just going to keep it at 15. The light beat, I think I ran at 12 psi, okay? The light beat is like super light. The lighter your bike is, the less tire pressure you can run, okay? It's not going to lie, okay? This bike is not that heavy, but I feel like 15 is fine for it, okay? But it feels like it feels so stiff out on the trails, okay? So I want it more plush, okay? So that's what we'll try to do next year. We'll try to get the suspension more plush, all right? Maybe we just have to adjust the clickers like that. There was a shop in town that they would do tire repairs and stuff, and they would adjust your clickers for free. So maybe I should have done that. Okay, guys. Yeah, so I might want to take it to a suspension specialist and see if I can get them to soften it up more. Okay, guys. But for the desert, this seems fine, all right? And if I want to do Supermoto or whatever, I have another setting for that too. Okay, so the suspension is pretty good. There's a lot of adjustability to it. Okay, I might want to get. I'm still looking for a lower seat. Okay, guys, I haven't found one. Whenever I find one on Facebook Marketplace, somebody buys it right away. Okay, guys, so next year I'm going to try to get a lower seat. All right, just a little bit lower. If it was like a half an inch or an inch lower, I think it would help me a whole lot. All right, guys, the bike is already lowered, and it's still too tall for me. Okay, guys. It's not like the I know I can't be like the Lightbee, man. It's a bigger bike than the Lightbee, but if I can get more of my feet on the ground, I'd feel more confident in the rocky hill climb sections. I'd be more confident to be able to put my foot down. A lot of the falls on this bike was because I went over a rock, or I'm stuck on a rock, and then there's nowhere to put my foot down on the other side, and down goes the bike. Okay, guys. So there's that. So that's why I want to lower it a little bit. If I can get my foot down, I can paddle my way out of those difficult situations more easily. Okay, that's not the right answer, guys. The right answer is to go faster. Okay, guys, go faster, get more momentum, and then go. Just charge through that section. All right. And then yeah, the steering dampener. Okay, guys. So I will work on getting a steering dampener. It's so expensive, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Just the amounts alone are a couple $100. All right, that's why I'm trying to find a secondhand one. And then I have to change the crossbar on these fast flex bars because it won't fit with a steering dampener. You need one that like kind of goes up, has a little dome on it for the steering dampener. Okay, guys. I definitely want one. The steering is just too fast on this bike. Okay, I don't know how to explain it, man. The steering is just too fast. Okay, guys. So the steg pegs were good. Okay, I think I'll keep them like that. All right. I have the 2 pegs on the left and then the 1 peg on the right. I think that's fine. All right. I'm not gonna lie. They were more handy for the Biltwell race than the Virginia City race. Okay. They don't really help you on the downhill all that much because you're kind of, yeah, I feel like they don't help you go down the hill, but they help you go up the hill, and they kind of help you stand up when you're going on flat surface, okay? I don't know. We got to maybe play with them more, okay, guys? Other than that, I don't think we're going to do anything else to the bike, all right? The bike has been doing really, really good, okay, guys? I probably won't. Also, the forks don't leak anymore, right? Last year I found out why the forks were leaking. The freaking the previous owner peened the end of the axle. They were hitting it with a hammer, and then that won't go through the fork leg all the way anymore. And so what it was doing when I tightened the bolt, it was squeezing the forks, and they were like coming in crooked, right? They're like this, and they're going up and down, and the forks like this. That's what's causing the forks to leak, okay, guys? So I fixed it. The forks go up, in and out straight now. And it maybe like leaks a little bit, but not a whole lot. Okay, guys. So okay, and so with that, I think that's most of the racing that we're gonna do with this bike this year. We might do some motocross racing, and we're gonna do some, maybe a hare scramble race, those kind of races. And HadesOmega would like to try to do some flat track with this bike. Okay, guys. So I do have the Dual Sport wheels. I'm pointing to it. It's not in the video, but yeah, we could do some. We could try to do some kind of flat track racing with it. So would be fun. All right, we'll probably do Moto Beach Classic and EMX World Championship with it. Okay, so that's the end of the video, all right, guys. I managed to get the second place and the finisher pin. All right, I didn't get hurt. I had fun. All right, thanks to Ted for accommodations again. All right, it was great hanging out with my buddy Ted and his buddies. All right, and he had a barbecue and everything. It's all a good time, man. So. And that's why I like to keep coming back. You know, it's the atmosphere, all right? That's what I like about Virginia City, all right? Okay, I did notice at the award ceremony, a lot of California riders won trophies, man. Like, they're just California, 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 okay, guys? So that kind of stuff, all right? I really enjoyed that Biltwell race. I think I'll definitely do that one next year, okay, guys? But yeah, so next year, plan is to race the WR250E in the Dual Sport Novice class again and win it this time. Okay, so we're gonna try to win it next year, and then we'll move up. I think if I can dominate the Dual Sport class, I want to try to race the Warrior class. Okay, guys. But the Warrior class, they race on the full loop. Okay, guys. So HadesOmega has never raced on the full loop before, and I'm kind of scared. Okay, but you're gonna have to man up one day, HadesOmega, and try it. All right. I know you're old and frail, but man, I'm telling you. All right, there's a people much older than me racing on that loop. All right, guys. So you just gotta. Well, the important thing is we need to be able to finish one lap at least with one battery. Okay, so that's a scoop on that. So I think if we did the full loop was 22 miles this year. Okay, guys. I'm pretty sure we can do 22 miles on one battery. Okay, guys. So if it's 22 miles, I can probably use one battery, and then we just swap every lap. Okay, guys. So for the red loop, we can do 2 laps with this battery. Okay, so every year it's dependent on how long the course is. Okay, guys. I don't want to be that guy pushing my bike back to the pits because my battery ran out of charge. Okay, guys. That's what I don't want to happen. All right. I've done it a lot of times, and that's no fun. Okay, guys. Okay, so in the next part of the video, we will go out over the results in the Moto Tally, all right, guys? And then we'll do some fantasy motorcycle racing, see how we did against the other bikes in the red loop, okay, guys? So I'll see you guys in the next clip, all right? Cool. All right, hey, HadesOmega here. It's the next clip where we're going to check the results out, all right? I'm sorry, it's a couple days since the last clip, man. But anyway, here we are. We're going to go check out the results right now, all right? And then we're going to play some fantasy motorcycle racing is what HadesOmega calls it, all right? Okay, here we are at the Virginia City Grand Prix results website, all right? So see, if you watched the previous videos like this, Virginia City Grand Prix uses the Moto Tally scoring system, okay, guys? And yeah, so here it is. So it's got the results from up to 2021. Or I guess it's when they moved to the Moto Tally system. Okay, but so I'm sorry the camera is kind of close to the monitor, guys. But right here we got the results. All right, for the Saturday and Sunday race. All right, I don't know if for some reason the kids race I guess they don't use the transponders. They must just hand score it or something. Okay, and then here is the results, all right, for the overall results. All right, guys. So, all right, guys. So these are the overall Sunday results, and we're not in them. All right, guys, because we raced in the red loop. So I guess we don't have a thing for it. Okay, maybe there's a. I don't think they have an overall. They don't have an overall for. Okay, but anyway, here's what we raced in. So these are, I think these are the classes that are in the red loop, right? So there's Vintage, Adventure, Diva, and Dual Sport Novice. Okay, so those are the classes that we'll be playing fantasy motorcycle racing with later. Okay, guys, but we're concerned with Dual Sport Novice. All right, that is the class that HadesOmega raced in this year. Okay. My first time racing it, and there are the results. Okay, guys. So, Sam Romick, all right, he was the guy on the WR250E Suzuki. All right, he came in with 5 laps. All right, so he is definitely the winner. Okay, guys, and he was the first the whole time. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. All right, I couldn't catch the guy, man. So what could I say? All right, guys. So these are the cumulative times. I think this is the time, the race time you came in every lap, basically. Okay, it's not our lap times. All right. So here's me. All right. So I came in second place. I was 874 on the Yamaha. All right. That's the nice thing about the WR250. I just put Yamaha. I don't have to put other. Okay, because most websites don't have like stuff for electric bikes. Okay. But anyway, yeah. So we came in with 4 laps, all right? We finished 4 laps, all right? So we definitely beat these guys that only did 3 laps, okay, guys? But we got beat by Sam here because he did 5 laps, all right? So he definitely killed us, man. He lapped us big time, okay? And then so Scott Fisk was riding a KTM, all right? I think I met him at the award ceremony. He was rider number 872. He got 3 laps, all right? And wow, look at this. He went from 5th to 3rd. Not bad. It's pretty good. He went from like the back of the pack to like the middle of the pack, all right, guys? Yeah, I know there's only 5 riders, guys. And then so we had the number 4th place, Aiden Smith. All right, rider 870 on a Honda. All right, those were just 2 CR. I think they were CR 250s or something. There were 2 strokes. Okay, guys. And they came in right behind me. All right, so Aiden was right behind me on the first lap. All right, and then he did 3 laps. All right, so something must have happened where he wound up behind Scott here. Okay, and then Jeff Smith. All right, I would imagine these guys are related because they got the same last name and they ride the similar bike. Okay, guys. So it's, that was the other Honda CR 250. Okay, I think it was, and it looks like they were riding together because their times are exactly the same. All right, guys. So we've got 55 minutes here, and then 2:17, and then 4:47 right there. Okay, so they got 4 laps. So. I don't know if one of them is faster than the other, but it sure seems like they rode together, okay, guys, because their times are almost the same, all right? That is kind of interesting. Maybe it's a father-son team or something. I don't know. Do people ride together during this race? I don't know. Okay, that's what it seems. That's what it seems like to me, right? For this one, okay. All right, so. So let's go do the play-by-play, all right, guys? So Sam came in first on the first lap with 4 hours, 40 minutes and 59 seconds, pretty much 41 minutes, okay, guys? I came right behind him at like 46 minutes and 30 seconds. So I was about 5 minutes behind him, all right? So a pretty decent gap, okay, guys? But in long distance dirt bike racing, that's not very long. Okay, so yeah, we were pretty much right behind him on the first lap. Okay, guys. And if you guys remember I remember on the first lap, I saw him when we got out of the landmine hill is what I call it. All right. I saw him take off. Okay, guys. So he had actually cleared that section before us. And then he took off right when I got to him. Okay, so So and then I never saw him after that. I think I tried to chase him down the hill, and then these other bikes got in the way, and then he just kind of disappeared. Okay, guys. So that's my story about the first lap. Okay, guys. And then so Scott was actually 5th place on the first lap. The Smiths were 3rd and 4th. Okay, so Scott was behind these guys. Aiden, all right, the Smiths. Okay, I'm just gonna refer to them as because they have the same times, guys. They were like 10 minutes behind me. All right, so a good distance behind me. All right. And well, I think there's a thing that tells you like how far there is from it. So, okay, and then yeah, so somehow Scott must have had some problems on the first lap, probably on that hill. All right, and that landed him last. Okay, in 5th. All right, he was like five minutes behind these guys. So, 10 minutes behind me, 5 minutes behind this guy. So like 15 minutes behind me. All right, it's a significant amount of time. Okay, all right, and then so on the second lap, Sam came in with a 1 hour and 19 minutes. All right, and HadesOmega did not do a battery swap for this one. Okay, so yeah, I came in second at 1 hour and 33 minutes. All right, so I was 9 minutes, pretty much almost 10 minutes behind them. Okay, so the gap had doubled. All right, guys. So you can tell the pace that Sam is riding at and the pace I'm riding at is like we're consistent. All right, guys. His speed is consistent and my speed is pretty consistent, as you can see, because like it literally like he is the time doubled. Okay, guys, the gap doubled. All right. So he's just a little bit faster than me. Okay, guys. So, all right, and then Scott wound up becoming 3rd. All right, so he passed the Smiths. And then so he came in with 2 hours and 5 minutes. All right, so that's a long time, guys. I don't know what happened on the second lap, man. But like these guys, 30 minutes. All right, that's like, yeah, he was like 30 minutes behind me, and then these guys were even more. Okay, guys, it's like 30. That's like 45 minutes. All right, so like, yeah. Okay, all right, so the time's going to change a little bit. HadesOmega has to do a battery swap after the second lap, all right? That was the prudent thing to do. So I say, okay, I could have maybe tried for a 3rd lap on a battery I had, but I said, hey, you know what? I got 5 batteries. Just freaking swap it, man. So I can ride any way I please, okay, guys? So, all right, so on the 3rd lap, Sam came in with a 155, all right? And then I came in with a 227. So the gap had widened significantly, all right, guys? So that's like 32 minutes, all right? I'm 32 minutes behind Sam now, all right? So remember, I did the battery swap. I think the batteries, pitting in took like 5 minutes, okay? So it like added another 5 minutes to my time, yeah. So, and then Sam is probably still out there. That DR650, I can tell you this, with the stock tank on the DR650, you can go 100 plus miles, okay? So he does not need to refuel for this race, okay? Unless he didn't fill the tank up all the way. Okay, and he's still out there riding, what a beast, okay? And then so Scott was still in 3rd on the 3rd lap, all right? He was 3 hours and 19 minutes. He was 52 minutes behind me. The gap had widened even more, 52 minutes. So yeah, it was like 30 minutes last time, right? So I don't know what happened, man. The pack just like dropped like a lot, all right, guys? Maybe they got tired after the second lap or something. I don't know, guys, all right? If you were one of these guys, let me know in the comments what was going on with your race, okay, guys? So okay, but yeah, that's the commentating. All right, guys. So yeah, and then so it took them a long time to do that 3rd lap, so they timed out. All right, guys. At 3:19, you're already 20 minutes over time. Okay, guys. So that's it. But HadesOmega was chugging right along. I'm not gonna lie. On the 3rd lap, HadesOmega fatigue was starting to set in, all right? I was already tired after the 1st lap, man. I was super tired after the 3rd lap. And I was going like, man, I don't know if I can do another lap. But sure enough, I did do another lap, okay, guys? So, So I did not have to do a battery swap, all right, because we would have done a battery swap after the 4th lap, okay, guys, because every 2 laps we do the battery swap. So Sam pulled out a 2:32. All right, he was like what? Yeah, he's doing like 30-minute lap times or something. Okay, so and I did a 3:15. All right, I'm definitely slowing down. 30 plus 15, 45. 45 minutes. All right, now I'm 45 minutes behind him. So it's like the gap doubles every lap. All right, Sam is just blazing away. All right. And then Sam comes in at 3 hours and 10 minutes. So Sam had nearly lapped me, okay, guys? So you can see here, 3 hours and 10 minutes for his 5th lap, and then when I came in for the 4th lap, I was 3 hours and 15 minutes. So actually he came in before me. He did lap me. Yeah, he did lap me. Yeah, that's pretty wild, right? So yeah, so Sam lapped me by 5 minutes. Okay, guys, he was like 5 minutes. He was 1 lap and 5 minutes ahead of me. Okay, guys, so yeah, that's pretty crazy, right? And then yeah, these guys are already out of the race. Okay, guys. So yeah, man. I don't know if Sam is gonna race this race next year. I would think he wouldn't because he already won it, all right? But he's the guy to beat next year, okay, guys? So Sam and the DR650, all right? HadesOmega has a DR650, man, and it's not the bike I would want to race this race, okay, guys? But yes, it does meet the qualifications for Dual Sport Novice, okay, guys? Okay, so here's the lap times, okay, guys? Boom. All right. So you can see, we'll just do it by rider, okay, guys? So Sam's first lap was pretty much 41 minutes, like I mentioned. His second lap was 38 minutes. Third lap was 35 minutes. He got even faster, okay? And then he started slowing down. He's got some pretty consistent lap time. So the first lap obviously is going to be the longest because of the freaking bottleneck, okay, guys? So, but then it kind of, yeah, you kind of get like faster, okay? So that's why this time is so much, okay? Okay, and then yeah, he pulled off like a 2:37s right here, man. So he had like a rhythm going after like the first lap, guys, pretty much. Okay, so his lap times are pretty consistent. Okay, so here's me. All right, so first lap I came in with 46 minutes. All right, I remember, man, my moving time was around like 55 minutes when I came in for the first lap. I was like, man, what the heck? That first lap took so long. It took almost an hour. Okay, guys. But yeah, so we were doing 46 and then 47 minutes on the next lap time. All right, so we had to swap a battery. So that's why the third lap is longer than the second lap. Okay, but I was getting really tired on the third lap. Okay, that's when I started slowing down a lot. Yeah, I think the first 2 laps I felt like my body was more fresh. Okay, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Yeah, that's funny. The first lap is actually faster than the second lap. I think the second lap I had problem going up the hill, but there was no bottleneck, so I'm not sure. I dropped the bike a couple times on the hill. So, but anyway, 46 and 47, and then it looks like because of the probably because I'm going slower, and that I did a battery swap. It added like almost like 10 minutes, like just a little less than 10 minutes to my lap time, okay? And then we hit another 47, all right? So I'm pretty consistent. Actually, I'm actually more consistent than Sam was, okay, guys? So see, 46, 47, all right, this is going to be longer because of the battery swap, and then there's another 47 right there. So yeah, dude, we're pretty consistent, all right? Our lap time. So like we can go faster. I'm not gonna lie. All right. Okay, and then so here's Scott. Scott had some kind of problem on the first lap. That landed him in 5th. All right. Well, he was behind these guys not too far. Okay. And then his second lap was 1 hour and 3 minutes, and then his third lap was 1 hour and 13 minutes. His last lap was even longer, like 10 minutes longer. I don't know if he pit in or not, all right, but his lap times were like about 10, 15 minutes ahead of ours, okay, guys? So he needs to get them lap times down, okay? And then so the Smiths, we got 55 minutes for the first lap. That puts it like 10 minutes behind us, guys. All right, and then they got even worse as it went along. 1 hour and 21 minutes, and then 2 hours and 30 minutes for the third lap. They must have had some kind of problem after the second lap, is my guess. Oh, even the second lap, yeah. I don't know. Their first lap was 55 minutes, and their second lap was 1 hour and 21 minutes. That's a lot. Okay, guys, that's almost double, yeah. Well, not quite, but 2 hours and 30 minutes. I don't know what's going on here, man. Their times just get worse and worse every lap. So, yeah, maybe they were riding together and they were helping each other out. Maybe one of them had a problem. All right, if you're Aiden or Jeff Smith, please chime in the comments if you happen to see this video. Okay, guys, and let me know what happened. All right, guys. Okay, and then so we can do time behind leader. Okay, and then so pretty much me and Sam, we never changed. All right, he was the leader the whole time. Boom, dominated. All right, I was 5 minutes behind him. So yeah, check this out, guys. I was 5 minutes behind him on the first lap. Not bad, right? And then I was 13 minutes on the second lap, and then 32. It doubles every time. All right, guys. You pretty much add like 10, 15 minutes to each lap. Okay, guys. So like, yeah, man. His pace and my pace were pretty much the same, as if you can tell, right? And yeah, so that's what happens if the paces don't change. Like, he just keeps on getting farther and farther away. Okay, guys. I remember I think he lapped me on the third lap already. So on the third lap, I'd already seen him pass me. I think, all right, or I think it was the third lap I saw him. Okay, and then so Scott was 21 minutes behind me. Oh, 21 minutes behind Sam, and then 46, and then 1 hour and 24. It just got longer and longer. Okay, and then the same thing for these guys. Okay, so they were 14 minutes behind Sam, and then 57 minutes, and then 3 hours and 52 minutes. I don't know what happened, man. All right, I hope they're okay. All right, and this is the time behind next place. Okay, so I was 5 minutes. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, it's the same as the leader. All right, but so Scott was 6 minutes behind me. Yeah, how does that work? Oh, this is behind the last person. All right, so yeah, so this guy was 9 minutes behind me. Okay, and then 4 minutes. This guy was right behind. Jeff Smith was behind Aiden Smith. Okay, so yeah, pretty interesting stuff. This is not going to change, all right, because then we never swap places, all right. And then so Scott was able to stay behind me, but he was 32 minutes behind, and then he was 52 minutes. So it's kind of like so Sam had the fastest pace, all right, and I had the second fastest pace, and Scott had the third fastest pace, all right, because our times are like they keep on, the gaps keep on opening. Okay, guys, that's what it seems like. All right, we're riding at a consistent rate. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't going very fast either, guys. I was just like, I remember like I was racing the Biltwell race, and I was like, damn, we were moving and grooving in that race. This race, I'm just slow like a freaking turtle. Okay. Anyway, so now is the time for fantasy dirt bike racing. All right, guys. So I think we're going to go with, what's summary? Summary is nothing. Okay. Oh, we can tell where everybody's from. How about that? Let's check that out. Okay, so yeah, you can tell where these guys from. We're all from California, guys, for one thing. All right, so Sam Romick is from Vallejo, California. Okay, I know where that is. That's the North Bay. All right, and I am from San Jose, California. There I am. Okay, 874. Scott Fisk is from Fairfield, California. 872. Okay, I know where that is. That is close to Vallejo. Okay, and then Palm Desert. Where's Palm Desert? Ah, Palm Desert. Okay, Palm Desert is by Joshua Tree. Right, Palm Desert is by Joshua Tree. Wow, these guys came a long way to race this race, longer than me. Okay, so yeah. How is it that they had a dual sport? How did they plate those Hondas? That's what I wonder. Okay, guys. Yeah. So there's also the controversy whether these guys are racing actual dual sports. Okay, guys. I think KTM makes dual sports, right? I'm not really sure what these guys were riding. Okay, guys, but um, these CR something. I don't think it's a dual sport. Okay, guys. I do know that you can play them, but they're pretty much dirt bikes. Okay, guys. I'm pretty sure they were riding dirt bikes, and the KTM is pretty much. It's not really a dual sport. It's like a dirt bike with like turn signal stuff. Okay, guys. The What I would classify as a dual sport was what me and Sam were riding. Okay, guys, a WR250 and a DR650, or they're Japanese dual sports. Okay, guys. I have a DR650, and yes, it is very much a dual sport. Okay, is what I would define it as. The WR250 is like a, yeah, it's almost. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of almost like a dirt bike with turn signals. It's one of the more dirtier small displacement dual sports. Okay, so that is the thing about the bike HadesOmega race. It's a WR250, so normally that bike wouldn't qualify for this class, but because it has to be 650 and up. I don't know who made these rules, but a dual sport is a dual sport, man. A dual sport means like it's street legal basically. Okay, it has like the turn signals and all that stuff. And I know these two bikes from the factory came street legal. This KTM might be street legal from the factory. These Hondas, I don't think are. I think you have to get them plated somehow. Okay. Okay. Anyway, times for some fantasy motorcycle racing. All right, HadesOmega here, and we're gonna do some fantasy motorcycle racing. This is what I call it. All right. So basically, I'm gonna take my time, and we're gonna see how good we did versus the other red loopers. All right, or the other classes. Okay, in this case, they don't have overall for the red. The red loops. Okay, so we're just gonna we're just gonna compare it by class. Okay, guys. So HadesOmega has 4 laps. All right, that I came in with 4 laps at 3 hours, 15 minutes, and 20 seconds. Okay, so that is the time to compare. Okay, so first let's go compare vintage. All right, so this is the vintage class. All these guys here would have beat us. All right, 1, 2, 3 would have beat us. All right, Mike Johnson, Kevin Cogliandro, and Joe Marchini. All right, they all did 5 laps. All right, Mike Johnson came in at 3. Mike Johnson came in the same time I did on the 5th lap. All right, and remember we did 4 laps. Okay, guys. so yeah, he lapped me. He was gonna lap. Ooh, he came in right behind us. Yeah, he came in right behind us, dude. Whoa, that is like, yeah, remember, I'm 3 hours, 15 minutes, and 20 seconds. He was like 3 seconds behind me. He was coming up to lap me, guys, basically. All right, guys, yeah, that's how he fit. He almost lapped me. That's pretty wild, man. All right, and then I remember seeing these two out on the trail. All right, Mike Johnson and Kevin Cogliandro. I remember seeing this 800 bike many times on the trails passing me. Okay, guys, and I think I did see Mike Johnson. I think he was racing a CZ bike. All right, it was a white and black one, I think, and I saw him pass me like really fast. He was like, "Rah!" It's okay, guys. Yeah, those guys were fast, man. All right, and then this guy, John Marchini, he came in 3:29 with 5 laps, okay? But we would have came in 4th place, all right, because number 810, Austin Weiser, had 4 laps, but he came... Oh, no, we would have... Damn it, all right, never mind. We would have came in 5th, all right, because this guy beat us. He did 3 hours, like, flat, pretty much, all right? We were 3:15, remember? All right, so we would have came in 5th, all right, where this Robert Julia guy, 804, he came in with 3 hours and 43 minutes, all right, guys, and our 3:15 beats him by 30 minutes, all right, and then we would have beat all these other guys. Hey, there's Ted, all right, so Ted finished the race with 2 laps, by the way, okay? There's my buddy Ted Elswick, all right, who's racing a Husqvarna. All right, he came in 6th. He actually finished, all right, guys, with 3 hours and 11 minutes. Okay, he had some trouble on the hill, I think. that's every time I saw him, he was on the landmine hill guy, okay? And then all these guys DNF'd, all right? Boom. All right, Joe Bennett, bam. This guy, oh, yeah, so this is a weird one, all right, guys? Check this out. Austin Weiser was 5th place. He finished 5th place, but Joe Bennett ended the race at below 3 hours, all right? He was just under 3 hours, so he couldn't finish his race. If he chicken cooped it like 4 minutes, he would have came in 4th, okay, guys? But, well, he would have placed 4th, all right? But he did come in 4th on the 4th lap because Austin Weiser came right behind this guy, all right? So, but for some reason, Joe Bennett did not finish the race. There's a DNF right here, okay, guys? So something must have happened to him on the 5th lap. He did not come in for a 5th lap, all right? So he came in just under 3 hours. If he had chicken cooped it and finished the race, then he would have came in 4th, all right, legit, but he DNF'd. So yeah, that sucks, man. Better luck next year, Joe. He didn't get a finisher pin also. All these guys didn't get finisher pins, so they don't win a trophy and they don't get a finisher pin, unfortunately. I have DNF'd, guys, and I have gotten a trophy before, so it is possible. So, but you have, the competition can't be a lot, all right, guys. And there were 6 other riders that did finish, okay, guys. So yes, that is kind of strange how this guy actually did better than Ted. And same with this guy. Yeah, these 2 guys did better than Ted, but they didn't finish, okay, guys? Ted somehow came in after 3 hours, all right, so it finished. Okay, so, and then the rest of these guys didn't finish. These guys must have had, like, huge problems. This guy only did 2 laps, all right? Jeff Stone, Jay Haying only did 1 lap, and Bradley Weiser only did 1 lap. So something must have happened to them or their bikes, all right? If you're watching this video, chime in and let us know how your race went. Okay? So yeah, we would have came in 5th. All right, guys? We would have came in 5th behind Austin Weiser. Yeah, he got an extra lap on us. So no, he didn't get an extra lap on us. He was Austin Weiser was 15 minutes ahead of us, and Robert Juliot only did 3 laps. Okay. Yep. All right. So next class, adventure. All right, adventure bikes. All right, the only adventure bikes HadesOmega remember seeing was a Yamaha Tenere and a Cove 800. All right, and I don't see a Cove here. Okay, guys. So I'm thinking the Cove was this KTM. All right, guys. I saw the Cove many times on the course, right, passing me. All right, guys. And that guy was fast, man. So I'm thinking I think this KTM might have been the Cove. Okay, guys. Maybe I can Google his name. I don't know. I'm not sure. But so this guy, Mario Murillo, is a freaking monster. Okay, he did 6 laps. He did 6 laps. In fact, I think this guy is the overall winner for the Red Loop, by the way, on a Cove 800 or KTM, whatever. All right, he was rider number 850, and he came in 6 laps. All right, he lapped us twice, guys. He lapped us twice at 3:11. All right, he came in before us on the 6th lap. That's nuts, right? Destroyed us, man. That's nuts, right? We did 4 laps. He did 6 laps, and he came in before us. That's incredible. We did 3:15. All right, remember, guys. All right, so second place was 854 Bradley Cabral on a Yamaha Tenere is my guess. All right. He did 5 laps. He beat us too, all right? Look at that. 1 more lap than us. He came in at 3:26. All right, he came in 10 minutes behind us, but with an extra lap. All right, so yeah, I remember. I think these are the 2 guys that were racing. And then we have this guy, Dallas Ott, number 853, on some kind of Honda, maybe like an Africa Twin or something. We would have beat this guy. We would have came in 3rd, all right? We would have came in 3rd in adventure if we raced the WR250E in this class. All right, because we came in. Oh yeah, we beat this guy big time. We had 4 laps at 3:15. He had 3 laps at 3:23. All right, so we were like a full lap ahead of him almost. Okay, and then there's this Kevin Heineman, 8:51. He got. It took him 3 hours to do 2 laps. All right, so better luck next time, Kevin. Man, yeah, he must have had some serious problems on the trail. All right, chime in if you watching this video. All right, anyway. And then the divas, all right, guys, the ladies, all right. HadesOmega could not. I don't think HadesOmega could race in this race because it's for ladies only, okay, guys. Unless I get some kind of a transgender thing, all right, guys. But yeah, I don't even know how that would work, okay, guys. But yeah, anyway. So these are ladies racing dirt bikes, all right, on the red loop. All right, and so how would HadesOmega do if somehow he got a sex change and raced a WR250E in this class? Well, he would have won it. I would have won it. All right, guys. So Jessica Bespalko, rider 822 on a Yamaha, or also a Yamaha, did 4 laps in 3 hours and 20 minutes. All right, so I did 4 laps in 3 hours and 15 minutes. So I beat all the ladies. I guess that's something to brag about. I did remember I saw this girl out there and she passed me, Megan Marquez on the KTM. I thought we were racing her because she is 875. And then there's this 876 Kelly McCullen. All right. These are the same number as our row, okay? They should have been. I thought they were racing in the dual sport class, but they actually weren't. They were the part of the diva class, okay? So, yeah, I guess the dual sport is more competitive. So I would say that the diva class, right? So we should the dual sport should start in front of the divas then. That's what I'm saying. All right. Anyway, yeah, we would have beat them all. Okay, guys. Woohoo! All right. So Jessica was 5 minutes behind us, and then Hannah here on the Yamaha was, oh man, like 20 minutes behind us. And then this is like Paisley. It was probably 30 minutes. Okay, guys. So yeah, there it is. All right, we would have beat all the ladies. All right, and all these ladies here did not finish, unfortunately. Wow, these didn't even get a single lap in. All right, they must have had some serious problems. All right, and this one had two laps, and then something happened to her, and then then these ones they finished with 3 hours, guys. Look at that. It's crazy, right? It took them 3+ hours to do 1 lap. That is insane. This one 4 hours to 15th place, man. Holy moly, dude. Yeah, they must have been walking out there or something. They must have been walking their bikes all over the place, man. I'm not gonna lie. I saw some girls out on the side of the trail. I saw some bikes on the side of the trail that they were. Oh yeah, it was an 825 bike. Is that here? No. It's not here. I saw 825 bike on the trail, but it's not here. Oh, it's right here. Yeah, see, there it is. This was a black KTM. I remember seeing that bike many times on the side of the trail, just not going anywhere. Right? So yeah, something must have happened to their bike on the trail, and they just got stuck out there. Okay. So yeah, better luck next time, ladies. All right, you need to. You need to eat more Wheaties to catch up to HadesOmega. Alright, guys. Okay, that's it. And I think that's it, right? Yep. Back to dual sport. Alright, guys, and with that, we're done with the AAR, alright? The after action review, alright? We went over the results and everything, and the fantasy motorcycle racing. HadesOmega loves to do fantasy motorcycle racing, alright? Alright, I beat all the ladies. I think I got 3rd place in the, I got 3rd place in the adventure bikes, and in the vintage bike, I think we got like 6th place in the vintage bikes or something, okay, guys? And then, yes, we finished 2nd place in Dual Sport Novice, alright? HadesOmega is planning to probably race that same class next year, okay? If I get, so here's the plan, alright, guys? If this is what HadesOmega is declaring, alright? If I win the Dual Sport Novice class next year with the WR250E, all right, yes, we're going to race WR250E again. I will, if I win it in 2027, all right, so, no, in 2028, all right, so if I win the Dual Sport Novice class in 2027, I will race in the Warrior class in 2028. All right, guys. So that's the class for veterans. All right, Warrior Novice. Okay, Warrior. All right, HadesOmega has never raced the full course before, and so I think that that'll be the time to do it when I dominate the red loop. All right, guys. As you can see, I was not the fastest guy on the red loop. All right. The guy we got beat by one guy in our class, and then there was a guy on an adventure bike that was just cooking out there. Okay, guys. That is amazing. All I can say, on a big bike like that, just blazing through the trails. That hats off to him, man. That more power to you. If you can race an adventure bike in that, at Virginia City, man, and just destroy everybody on an adventure bike, that's an accomplishment. Okay, guys. Or you're just like a really big sandbagger, one of the two. Okay, guys. So yeah. Yep, okay, so that's what the plan. Next year, HadesOmega is planning to race Dual Sport Novice again, okay, guys, in the WR250E. And if we win, we will race. I'm going to go race in the Warrior class the year after, okay, guys. And if we don't win, well, we're just going to be stuck in the Dual Sport class, okay, guys. Yeah. Right. Yeah, the funny thing is, like, I see this dual sport class every year, the novice class, and there's not that many bikes in it. And so I was like, that's weird. How come nobody wants to race in this class? Like, I was like, you know what? I'll do it. I got a plated bike. So yeah. Yeah. So, well, anyway, we have the electric exemption. Okay, guys. We are not restricted by displacement limits. Okay, guys, because we have electric power. Okay, guys. So that's the scoop, all right. And yeah. So what do I think I could do to do better next year? I think I went over it a little bit when I was in doing the AAR. All right, guys. But I'm working on getting a steering stabilizer. I think that will help a lot with the rocks. Okay, at least I hope it is. I've never raced with a steering stabilizer before, and so I'd like to try it. Okay, guys, but they're very expensive. It's like every time I see the price on, I'm like, is it really worth it to get this device? Plus, it adds more maintenance to the bike. You got to do oil changes and stuff on it, man. But yeah, well, I will work on getting an oil. A steering dampener. I think it'll help. Okay, guys. I think somehow we need to soften the suspension more. All right, because it's still beating me up pretty bad on the trails. All right. I could still probably move the clickers back a little bit. So it might be worth it to have somebody professionally adjust the clickers for me. All right, somebody that knows what the hell they're doing. Okay, guys. But I'll tell you this: the settings worked fine in the desert. All right, in Mojave, they were great. All right, but at Virginia City, it was shit. Okay, guys. Every bike I've raced at Virginia City, it just feels awful racing over the rocks and everything. It's rough, man. Okay, we're going to try to make it so it's plush. We just glide over the rocks, no problem, right? So yeah, steering stabilizer, adjust the suspension, and then I maybe get a lower seat too. Okay, HadesOmega has been on the lookout for a lower seat for the WR. They do make them. All right. I think if I could shave off like at least half an inch from the seat, then HadesOmega can get my feet on the ground a little better. And so if I get stuck, it's a handicap, guys. But if I get stuck in rough area or a challenging terrain, I can just kind of paddle my way out, like I did with the Light Bee. All right. So that's one thing I miss about the Light Bee. Okay, guys. It's just lightweight and I could easily push it. And improvements for next year is my fitness. All right, it always comes down to fitness, man. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. After the first lap, I was tired, and then just every lap, I just got more and more tired. The bike could go faster, but I could not go faster. Okay, so that's a scoop there. Okay, the bike is we are not overriding our bike whatsoever. All right, we're not pushing that thing to its limit. All right, guys. So to do that, I need to up my physical fitness. All right, that's the problem. All right, it's the rider is the problem, not the bike. All right, that type of thing. So it's like there's two things: the arms. All right, my back. Well, it's three things, I guess. My back was hurting after the race too, and my legs. Okay, so my legs. All right, I'm wearing shorts right now. Yeah, so my legs were like dead. All right, guys, during the race, and I have this. I had the steg pegs and they helped a whole lot, but and like you could use your legs to, your legs are stronger than your arms, all right, is what I'll say. But if your legs give out, then what do you have? Then you don't have anything anymore. It's just, you're just sitting down. Okay, so, and there, you can't do a lot of sitting down on those trails at Virginia City. I'll tell you that, man. Every time I saw it smooth, I was like, oh, yes, this is your rest break, bro, type of thing, okay? So, yeah. The same thing happened to me in a supermoto race. My legs kind of gave out, all right? They, what do they call it? Tendonitis, all right? It's when your muscles get sore and you can't move them anymore, type of thing. Yeah, it was like that, okay, guys? So, I definitely need to do some kind of legs exercise, all right, so to make them last longer, okay, guys? Because we need to do lots of standing, all right, and we got to take more advantage of the steg pegs, okay? So yeah, I think I'm gonna just try to do squats, all right? I think squats will probably help. Okay, so all right, so that's the end of the AAR. Thanks for watching, all right, and then the results and all that good stuff. If you haven't watched the race videos, check them out, all right, guys. It's pretty interesting stuff, right? They will be well, this video should be out after the race videos are out, all right? There'll be links after this video. Okay, all right, thanks for watching. HadesOmega out. See you next year, Virginia City.